crazy I did? I sat down and that water was so calm and still, and I'm looking at all the milk flow and shit. I saw massive schools of fucking shad coming by the boat, dude. Did you see that in your
No.
place?
All right, we're live on the website. We're live on Facebook.
Okay. What's the over and under on my short shorts joke?
What is this foolishness? How many dreams can you shape in a minute, an hour?
The kind of clean you like best.
Lost 3 of my teeth, too. All right, sir, you lost. Next time you'll win.
Steamy, hot, hearty, delicious, invigorating.
Folks at home, how you doing tonight? I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. I know we are. Welcome to a brand new Ike Live show. And listen to me. We've got a special one for you tonight. This is the Ike Live Father's Day special. And with me in the room, we happen to have 3 fathers right here. And one soon-to-be father. See the look on his face? Let me introduce the room tonight, and let me also tell you, man, it feels good to have a little cast and crew back in here. Yeah. Feels really good. I'm telling you, the energy is definitely different for me tonight. Glad to have these guys back in here with me. Sitting in the co-host chair tonight is the one and only Dave Brodzik, a.k.a. Fathead, a.k.a. Worf. Dave, how you doing tonight?
Oh, man, great to be around you
feels
guys.
Good to have you back in here.
Yeah, it feels good to be back, man.
Yeah, well, let me just tell you this. I'm being honest. I've already, and you've been here. You pulled in and had a couple laughs out there, and then you came up here, and I can't stop laughing. I've already laughed more in 20 minutes than I have in the last 5 shows up to this point.
Yeah,
I've laughed more in those 20 minutes.
If there's 2 people I know how to make laugh, I'm learning how to make Riz laugh, but I know how to make you and Brian laugh. Yeah. I know the go-tos.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. It's good. Laughter's good. Got Dave Brodzik with us over here in the other chair. And let me remind everybody, just to let you know, Dave, this is officially 6 feet. So we're still practicing social distancing. Things are clearing up a little, but this is 6 feet, give or take. Probably 6.5, maybe.
Yeah, but then, we had the social distance at your event this weekend.
We did.
You look, it's 200 feet away on the deck bar. They're face to face.
They were
the barbershop quartet.
It's weird, right? It's weird. And on top of that, and we're going to talk more about it, but on top of that, the health department was there checking.
I got thrown off the dock.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
But the restaurant's all right.
But the restaurant's okay.
You can't get it at the restaurant. It's
No,
just
you
on the
can't.
dock.
Right,
the alcohol.
The alcohol neutralizes it.
Whatever Brian was drinking neutralizes it.
It neutralized my brain. That's what that did.
I think if that's the case, then we're all good. We're never going to get sick ever again.
Brian's an anarchist. He yells at them when they say something. I just say, "Oh, yes, ma'am," and you're thrown off the dock.
Get thrown off quietly.
Well, I mean, there's only so much stupid I can tolerate.
That's right.
We have to. We're all going to die of it at the dock fishing.
Yeah.
But the bar and the restaurant.
But the bar, it's fine.
Yeah, within farting distance away, where everybody's right in each other's face. That's all right.
Right.
And that's the health department's there. Okay. And I'm not supposed to say something.
It's crazy times. I don't know.
It's stupid times.
It's stupid times.
Yeah.
Pushing buttons tonight, of course, Brian DeCarpenter producing. Brian, good to have you here.
All right.
Feels good to have everybody back.
Yeah, look at us.
I like it. I like it a lot better. We know when to talk. We know when to communicate. We know when to respond. And then on IMs tonight, we've got a Riz over there. We've got Rich Rizzo.
The Wiz.
That's
The
right.
Wiz
And,
sitting in.
New York Chris already chimed in and said only 10 minutes late. Shit, that's basically on time.
It's on time. 10 minutes late for us is good.
You
man.
can still weigh in fish 10 minutes late.
You can. You can. They're legal.
We're working on about a 5-pound penalty right now, but we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Rich, get closer to the mic, bro.
Yeah, Rich, get close to Mike. And
Get it.
Rich, real quick, too, I also want to introduce a brand new member of the Ike Live cast, the very first appearance here on the show, Becky's Hog. Becky's Hog, how are you tonight?
All right.
I'm gonna make a hog.
That's Brian
We
saying
gotta
more
ask-
hog impersonation.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, why
Is
don't
that
you
bad?
try doing the hog? Somebody else.
Let's ask Zack when he comes on. He hunts. I'm sure he knows how to do a hog. Listen, we've got a really, 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 really good Father's Day show for you tonight. Of course, we've got the winners of the Ike Foundation Celebrity Pro-Am yesterday. Here's the thing. I cannot wait to hear their story, Bri. They are a father and son team.
Isn't
How
that awesome?
fitting.
Oh, that's great.
How fitting. We're going to have them on here in the first segment. In the second segment, we've got a guy on I wanted to have on the show for a very long time. If I recall, Click Bry, this is his first appearance on Ike Live. Very excited to have him on. He's also a father, Dave. Mr. Zack Birge is going to be joining us
Yes.
tonight. Cannot wait to talk to Zack. Also, I want to remind you real quick before we get into sponsors here, we're giving this thing away. Dave, this is the Ike Live gift bag.
Yeah, let me hear how
Feel
heavy
that.
it is.
It weighs, I'm going to guess, in the 20-pound category.
Yeah.
It's
Easy.
loaded with sponsor products. You're going to hear our sponsors here in a second. If you're watching right now over on Facebook, here's all you need to do to have a shot to win this thing. Riz, they need to like and share the feed, and they got a shot to win it. We're going to pick a random person at the end of the show to win it. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. We're gonna randomize or select a Facebook
Okay.
like and share.
I love it. I love it. Listen, this show is brought to you by a lot of companies that make it possible. Look around. We've got lights. We've got wires, buttons. I don't even know what the heck this stuff is. But these companies make it possible. Of course, our presenting sponsor, Mystery Tackle Box, Tackle Warehouse, TH Marine, Dr. Squatch, Liquid Mayhem, Flambeau, Hobie is a great sponsor of the show. Founders, and we're going to be doing a different beer in each segment. So tonight I'm starting with one of the classics right here, and this is Founders Solid Gold. Probably the best easy drinking beer I've ever had. It's hot right now. It's summertime. This is a good one for sure. So check it out. Founders makes a great beer. Also, let me remind you, we're going to be doing a MTB, Mystery Tackle Box, unboxing at the very end of the show. And I believe we are the only live fishing podcast that does that. So it's going to be really good. Let me introduce one more guest here. Can I
Read the note I was sending you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't see him yet. I didn't see him when we were.
can look right
I
there,
see
dude.
him now. Okay, I see him now. Of course, the crust of show. Look, Pete's all mad. Look at him. He's already mad. We weren't going to forget about you, Pete. You didn't have your window up yet.
Smash trophies in the background.
Smash trophies in the back. The one and only Pete Glusick joining us via Zoom. Hi, Pete. Yep, there you go. Thanks,
Amazing.
Brian. Perfect.
Amazing.
How's it my fault? We heard it
Pete,
before.
you might be
it's
muted.
On his, it's on his end.
Check your
It's on
Zoom,
his
Pete.
end.
You might be muted, buddy.
All right. I don't think it's on his end.
Of course you don't.
Nah, I think it's on our end. Pete does Zooms like every day. He knows how to Zoom.
All right, Pete, check it now.
Check it now, Pete.
I'm good, guys.
Ah!
There he is.
See, I told you it was his end.
You're getting the blame, Pete. It's not even your fault. You're getting the blame for this.
Hey, happy Father's Day, everybody.
Yeah, you too, Pete. Happy Father's
You
Day.
too, buddy.
Happy Father's Day. I know I saw a social post from you. You got to visit your dad today. How'd that go?
Oh, it's great. You know, Dad's doing great. He's 82 years old. We're blessed to have him, this long with all the stuff that we dealt with him. You know, my son and Dad, we all three were together today and had a great time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Pete, we're going to be talking about, in just a little bit here, we're going to be talking about the Ike Foundation tournament. But I did see your post, and I want to just from my end, want to say thank you for all the kind words. And it's awesome. It's very, very awesome to see all you guys, my peers, pros, and, of course, my friends, supporting the cause. And it's really good feeling, and I appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys. Riz, Brian, Dave, appreciate you guys fishing it.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate
You're
it, man.
welcome.
It's the best thing going for getting kids involved in fishing. The Ike Foundation. It's so important to keep the growth of our sport moving in the direction that it is. You got to get fishing rods in those kids' hands.
Yeah.
The children are our future.
Teach them well and let them
Yeah.
lead the way.
Yeah, let them lead the way, man. Let
Damn
them-
you.
Hey, Mike. I just want to say congratulations to you. What an event! I mean, from the humble beginnings to what we saw down there on the Chesapeake, it was impressive. You can't say it any other way. We had 140 boats. People were excited. We were dealing with the virus thing, which held back the kids thing that you normally would have.
Yeah.
It was impressive. It was awesome, and I was excited to be part of it. But congrats to you and Becky. What a deal, man! It's come a long way.
Yeah, hey, what's even better, Becky, her Alpha Cats, and Dave Haas did a better job launching 140 boats than any of the bigger organizations did. How's that even happen, dude?
They did a really good job, and honestly, I'm glad you brought that up, Dave. Shout out to Dave Haas. Shout out to Jake. A lot of the
Ed Strain.
Ed Strange, the New Jersey
Booth.
Nation, all
Yeah.
those guys
Yeah.
that came out. I could not have run that kind of event without their help. It was
That's
a
right.
great event, so appreciate that. Pete, I wanted to mention this though. You hit it on the head. A lot of times you have no idea what you're doing. I remember, the first foundation tournament we had on the Delaware. We kind of didn't know what we were doing. You're scrambling around. I think we had 40 boats that year. And just like Ike Live, you just sort of just start doing it, and it figures itself out, and you get better and better.
Yeah, I
And
don't know if Ike Live was a good example.
Ike
but-
Live might be a bad example, but maybe Bash University would be a better example. It gained traction after a while.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of the first competition, Miller brothers won it. Did anyone watch Dan Miller's fight yesterday?
Jim Miller's
fight yesterday?
I watched the
Yeah, it was a quick one. Yeah, it was a good card to watch last night, guys. Sorry for the diversion there. Go ahead, get back after.
No, that's okay. Did Clay fight yesterday
Yes,
too?
he
He
did.
lost,
Too.
right? Did
Lost-
he lose?
He lost a decision. And
The decision,
It could have went
yeah.
either way.
Really?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
really hoping he would win.
Yeah.
I don't care for that other fighter too much.
Yeah,
but-
could have went either. But there was a fight. Oh my! It'll come to me later. We'll talk about it later. I don't want to
Okay.
take
Two
from the
fishermen on
foundation.
that card.
Wow.
Clay Guida, right?
Emmett,
Yeah.
Josh Emmett's fight. YouTube it. It was absolutely one of the perhaps best MMA fights of all time. Went all 3 rounds, and they were, Josh Emmett bangs.
Yeah.
He spins guys' heads when he hits them. Man, this fight, it ranks right up there with like the Kung Lee Frank Shamrock fight from like 15 years ago,
I hear
dude. It
you.
was
I hear you.
amazing, man.
Wow.
I'm gonna say
Sorry.
it right now. We need to get Clay Guida. We need to get
Gregor.
Gregor Gillespie. And
Miller.
then
Jimmy.
Miller. And
Yeah.
then there's another one, another Jersey guy that also fishes. North Jersey. You know him. He's a big wrestler, Dave.
I don't know, buddy.
Yeah.
Pete Glusick.
King Kong Bundy.
Well, there's one more. There's 4 guys in the UFC that all fish, and it's all over their Instagrams constantly. We got to get those 4 guys out on the
Yes.
water, get them
So
competing
many.
against each other.
So many athletes fish.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
You were with one yesterday.
Yeah, in every sport.
I got cock blocked by King Kong Bundy when I was like 22 years old.
Did you
At
really?
the gym, yeah, at the gym.
Wow.
Frankie Edgar.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Frankie
no,
Edgar
is it-
don't
no,
fish?
It's not Frankie Edgar. It's not. It's the other guy.
Frankie don't fish.
Can't think of his name.
Chad Mendez does, but he's West Coast.
Yeah,
At
Chad
any rate,
does.
yeah, dude, it was.
That's it. Chad Mendez.
Yeah, he's out in Cali. Yeah, it was a good time, man.
It's a good tournament.
Rich, real quick, are there any new usernames on the message board relating to tonight's show?
Becky's Hog.
All right. Well, you knew Becky's Hog was coming. I was wondering if there's anything to do with our hosts and their attire. For
Oh
this season.
yeah. Oh, Dave.
There's
No,
a
we
lot
haven't-
of ball
we haven't
shots.
seen
You want to
it
just
yet.
just out ourselves right now?
Yeah,
so
man.
we've got dual biffle going on tonight for everybody. I don't think we have a tight. Oh, that's a pretty tight
Tandem
shot there.
biffle.
We got tandem biffle going on. I don't know. Mine are pretty sure. Let me.
You like you said, you're like tournament biffle,
I'm tournament biffle.
and I'm
right.
I'm day off biffle.
day off biffle.
Practice biffle.
Yeah, practice biffle.
Right. You're making it hard on me, practice biffle.
Yeah.
Trying to win this tournament. I'm tournament biffle.
He
Making
would
it hard on
have
me.
had rights to the whole grass flat yesterday. Everybody on the grass.
Oh,
flat,
Tom,
on my spot.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? It was a great tournament. It was really awesome, and a lot of support from a lot of people. It's just like I said, it's really humbling to see all the people that came out to support it. including an athlete, Lane Johnson, came out to support it.
Trent Cole.
With
a fully
came out
wrapped
to
Ranger.
support it.
Looked amazing.
Pretty awesome.
And he fished. He had a good day.
Trent had a really good day, almost 18 pounds.
Right, good for like 50th place.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was
Place
crazy.
has got him, man. It's crazy.
The place has got him. This is unbelievable. So there's a lot of people watching, I know, from other parts of the country. And when you think about the Northeast, right, you think about Maryland, Jersey, Delaware, New York. You don't think about these kind of fisheries. But this is a tremendously special place that we have. I mean, ranks up there with places in Florida,
right now,
Texas, California.
It's got to be right there with one of the best fisheries in the country right now.
It's got to be.
As far as weights go.
It's got to be, and it gets such a bad rap nationally because when the elites visited here a few times, it was tough. It was September.
Yep.
The fish were really, really funky. You know, the second time they visited, we had a giant rain. The event was canceled. So people forget. People remember the flats of the 90s, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
They remember the flats of the late 80s and 90s. They remember Ken Cook winning with like 12 pounds a day. They remember guys having to run to the Chester River and catching shit, you know, catching 5 that weigh 8 pounds.
Really, in Okeechobee, with exception to like January through February, it takes the same weight to win down here as it does.
I would argue it does. I would argue
Yeah.
some of the best fisheries in the world, this will compete with it.
25 pounds post-spawn.
25 pounds to win. 5 over 21. You had to have 21 something, 21.24 or something to get into the top 5. And Pete, you ready for this? Here it goes. 20 bags over 18 pounds yesterday.
How about it?
Is that insane?
Wow.
20 bags over 18 pounds yesterday.
You know, it's impressive because I want to. You know, I've been fishing down there for a while, and we've been flirting with like heydays of the flats. Like I would say about 5 years ago, it was amazing. I had 50, 75 fish days out there with clients and stuff, and all fish over 3 pounds, and it was amazing. And it kind of tailed. And I say tailed. It went down just a little bit. Still took 20 massive 20-pound bags to win, but you didn't have the depth that I saw in your tournament this weekend. And I hadn't been on the flats this year. You know, that was my second day on the flats.
Yeah.
And it was the amount of people catching fish around me was like I had seen when it was at its peak.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like we're having a big uptick on the flats, and that's awesome. And what I'm most excited about, because you had 140 boats in this tournament. Everybody caught them. Everybody had fun. The fishery showed out.
Yeah.
Great time of year. Kudos to Becky for picking a tide that we got to see low tide, even though she doesn't care. And I'm glad we got. Well, some of the guys got to see low tide. The later flights definitely got to see it. And you know, but it was the place showed out, man. I can't imagine what's going to happen next year. I think you're going to have times 2.
Yeah.
Possibly at this event next year.
Yeah, we're excited. You know, the plan is to have an event there again next year. You know, if things go well, hopefully all this COVID stuff is gone, because the family festival part of it was missing.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yes,
that.
it was.
That was
Yeah,
one
it
thing
is.
that I wish we could have had more of a presence with that.
The stage.
The stage and that
everything.
venue's perfect. The park's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I could visualize music and food and, you know, kids casting, kids fishing.
We had our
right
own
there.
Catching
You know,
giants right there.
Probably,
Off the rocks.
yeah.
And there won't be as many bums lurking around like there was at the Camden
right.
waterfront.
That's
Oh,
true.
my God.
You know?
That's true. That's true.
We had our own festival after the event yesterday.
I saw that. And what was the drink of the festival?
Orange Crush.
Orange Crush.
What was in that drink, Rich?
It was vodka, triple sec, squeezed orange juice, fresh squeezed orange juice, and Sprite.
And vodka.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a lot of vodka.
Yeah.
Double twist of vodka.
Very good.
Here's the interesting thing, Pete, and I gained appreciation yesterday. So I was Dave Haas was putting the fish on the scale, and I had the mic, and it was really, really weird emceeing an event where there's no audience.
Yeah.
You know, it's being recorded on Facebook Live, so you have that audience, but there's no audience other than the anglers. So that was weird. The other thing I gained appreciation for is our MCs and announcers, whether it's Mercer or Chris Jones
Yeah.
or whoever it is, or
Fat
Marty or Fat Cat, whoever it is. when everybody's bailing on them. Like, I can remember as a competitor, Pete, you know those events where you come in and you're proud, dude. You're like, oh shit, I caught him. And dude, you got 16 pounds and you worked hard for him and you're like, I'm going to be right in this. And then you get in the bag line and you kind of are like, uh-oh. Like there's this weird feeling going on that maybe 16 pounds isn't so good, you know? But as an MC, you know, you can't be bored and you can't look at the guy like, oh, that sucks. You know what I mean? You have to sort of keep that energy. And I'm like, damn, now I know what these MCs go through, because so many 14 to 16 pound bags yesterday that came through that are quality bags on a normal event. But yesterday it was just, you know, you're way back there, you know? And it's like, God.
Place will break your heart, man.
Crazy.
You come in with 21 pounds and think it's you, and it is.
Bizarre.
I figure now's a good time as any for a confession. So yesterday yesterday we had we only were running 2 colored cull tags. We were running a yellow and a black for our smaller fish.
Oh, here we go.
Now, man, so we probably had another 1.5 pounds more. I forgot about the black cull tag. And we were throwing those 2s over the side of the boat. We had that one, we had 2.5s over the side of the boat. We still had that one we had to get rid of. When we were putting the fish in the bag, you must not have been looking, because I hurried up and took black off. It was like, whoop, like right in the bag, so you didn't see it. I realized I forgot about the black tag.
You're right. You're right. I remember that last fish. I remember that little one going in there.
Yeah.
And we threw way bigger fish.
I know, dude.
A pound bigger.
A pound at least.
That cost you 20. Definitely cost you 20 spots.
I don't know. I just think it came to me today when I was driving. I'm like, oh shit! There was. I got to tell Brian about that. I forgot to tell him after the tournament.
Dude, do you know where Dave's head is? I mean, it's everywhere. Dude.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. To fish an event with Dave or to fish with Dave, every single bird that flies by.
Every single bird. Come on.
No, every single bird.
Squirrel.
The sound they makes. Oh, at one point he was going into all our friends, and if they were birds, what they would sound like, or what bird they would be.
Not all of our friends.
Well, all right, yeah, not all of them.
We just got done making fun of Centaur for jumping on our spot, and I said, if he sounded like a bird, what would he sound like? That's what happened.
Did you tell him, why you got to come in here? You got a full-size bass boat. Why you got to come in here on us?
Yeah, I mean, Mike, how dare you?
How dare you, Mike?
All right, we got the Wawa Hoagie lady on the message board, and he says, he or she says, Mike, you big-eyed my shit. I thought I had bigger fish at one point during your bullshit weigh-in. he's like, I lost 3 pounds during after Mike's eyeball.
See, I'm consistent across the board. I big-eye other people's fish and my fish. They look big. Here's the thing, though. In my defense, Pete, back me up on this, because you're a biologist. Back me up on this. Dude, I swear, I looked at those fish, and I was from Dave Haas, again, social distancing, had to be at least 6 feet from Dave as he was doing all stuff over there. When they would come out of the bag, they all look like 4 to 6 pounders, you know?
Yeah.
All of them. But the problem is a lot of them had that classic post-spawn body.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was a little bit of an enclave belly, the red sores on their tail. But when you're holding them up, dude, the fish is 25 fucking inches long. Every one of them. How dare you not call that a 5-pounder on the scale? It's 25 inches long. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so they were, for the most part, Pete, post-spawn, right? You think?
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt. They're all of ours were. I mean, I had long fish. They were huge heads and bodies, and they should have been 4.5s, but they were all 3 3/4, and you know they just didn't make the mark. You know,
right.
But
that's what makes
my beef is with
amazing.
Yeah,
my beef is with you know, when we weighed in last year, I brought in 7 pounds at the Derby, and your scale said 9. And, I was thinking, man, I got 20. Mike's scale is going to give me 22. Did not happen for me.
Didn't do it this year.
No.
It didn't do it.
So to get back to Dave.
Yeah.
Because every bird that goes by, every person that walks by, he's in their conversation. You know, it's something that he hears, a little noise he hears, it goes into a movie that he saw one time from like some obscure shit. And then he tells me the line. He's like, "Do you remember that?" And I'm like, "Nah." Well, yeah. Well, actually, the movie sucked. That was the only funny part. But it was on and on. I heard about him shop for Adirondack chairs all day. I mean, his head's everywhere.
Meanwhile, you're calling the wrong fish.
I didn't even call him. He stayed in there he rode the whole day, dude. I forgot all about Black.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Have any of you guys ever fished with Dave, like out on the flats where there's a whole fleet of boats around?
Oh my
Because people start jawing at each other. You don't even feel like you're fishing, you know, because everybody's busting each other's chops and having conversations. Have you ever been out with Dave in that kind of environment?
No, they wouldn't have been, Pete. Like when I fished the Federation events, I've been out there, but I've had a dude that I really don't know, so I'm not really talking to that guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like this with
That's the
everybody.
key.
You
What
know?
about the guy you went back to the Delaware with when you had a tournament on the flats?
Yeah, that dude wasn't happy with me. Listen, the flats, you weren't 25 pounds wasn't winning back then. Dude.
Okay.
You were in like 8th grade smelling your friend's finger when I was running up the Delaware. So watch your tongue. All right.
All right, so tell us about that.
No. So me and Dave Butinowicz Jr. both made the run back up because I was getting. I have a summer spot that I mean I haven't had a big boat in a long time, but 13, 15 pounds wasn't crazy. You know what I mean? I knew I couldn't get 13 or 15 pounds in the flats. I didn't have those fish.
Huh.
So if I didn't have them, and I didn't have the knowledge or the experience down there, why wouldn't I run up where I thought I knew I could get them?
Okay.
You know? And I'll never forget this. So I can't even get in the spot. Has that fucking guy on the message board? How did that even happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Might be.
Yeah, Dave's
All right.
partner.
By the way, do you know his name?
Nah.
Because we absolutely got to get that guy on the show.
Dave's partner on the message
Nah,
board says,
I'll put it out
You don't know his name?
Nah, I could look it up. I mean, I'd have to just look up whatever that BFL event was.
It was a BFL?
so you made the run
That was a BFL?
Yeah,
all the way through the C&D Canal
I made up to Fast Ditch.
to Fast Ditch.
I get jammed up on the bar on the way in. I'm trying to jump out the boat to push it off the bar. The water's
bar
so
at
low.
the entrance.
The water's so low. This guy almost like on the kind of raft you would try to get off an island with. Like it was a real low boat to the ground. He's got a dip net, and he's got bushels full of crabs. He's drifting out the current, just scooping the crabs up that I didn't even know they went up there. I've seen it, but I didn't know it was enough to where you could fill bushels. And he was filling it up, man. Yeah, we were.
Wow.
It was a mistake. You know? Well, tell that guy if he knows so fucking much, go buy a boat. Stop being a leech, mooching on other people's stuff. He knows so much. Fucking bring him up here.
Could you imagine signing up for a BFL to fish the Chesapeake, and you got drawn with a boater?
The only two Polacks run up to the Delaware.
No, but again, I do want to defend Dave a little bit, and I mentioned this to Becky earlier. The flats of those days, and even earlier, right? You're talking about right when it was starting to turn around. But even earlier than that, dude, 12 pounds, 13 pounds won tournaments on the Upper Chesapeake.
I watched those tournaments on Lynn Dollar's YouTube channel.
I'm telling you, that won. There was not as much grass. South usually won. You'd have to go to Joppatown. You have to go to Middle River, Back River, sometimes all the way to Baltimore. So I remember those days.
Chester.
Yeah, Chester. Yeah, go to Chester.
There's lots of years you'd have been competitive or even a better decision to go to the Delaware if you knew how to get it done up there. Yeah. There are a lot of years like that.
Even better than the guy I drug from up northeast up to the Mullica Hill. I go down to Florida and I draw a guy from like Okeechobee, right, for an Everstart. He gets me on day one, and I'm not running the edge in the wind. I'm going straight through the middle of it. I imagine what he was thinking. Like I get the only guy from New Jersey. Like how'd this even
Poor
happen?
guy.
Like I live here. My answer is go get a boat, cheap ass. Like, you don't have to worry about it.
Wow, there just popped on.
There you have it.
We have another guest that just sat down. We've actually got Miss Rebecca sitting next to Becky's hog. That's a new character, Miss Rebecca. I don't know if you knew that.
Does this actually work?
Yeah.
Is this on? Oh,
Sure it does.
Might be
We're
a little
replacing
low.
Brian's ghost with Becky's hog.
Becky's hug. Yeah.
Don't you love my hog?
We
It's
love the hug.
amazing.
So Becky's hug is there for a lot of reasons. One is it's also a social distancing barrier that marks the approximate 6 feet between you and Riz.
Yeah.
Giant pig.
Yes, big old pig, big giant pig. Do you know what a hog sounds like, Beck? No, seriously, you've hunted it. Or is there a noise, a squeal, or something like that?
I heard him squeal when I shot him.
When you shot him.
Oh, wow. You hunted a hog?
This is my hog.
Dang.
That's Becky's. That's actually Becky's hog.
I thought it was just decor like all the rest of all these murdered animals hanging on the wall.
No.
I murdered that one.
Wow, that's awesome, dude. You ate them?
Yeah, yes. Am I on?
I don't hear you now. I did before. I don't now.
Hi. How many mics? can
Use
you have?
that mic.
Yeah,
The one,
put a-
the one you had first is the one working, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of, kind of.
Put them all right there. Just get them all in front of you.
Hi. Hi.
Yeah,
I like it.
NFL
Look like you're at a
coach.
presidential
I like
campaign
it.
with all the microphones.
I promise you this, that, and the other thing.
That was Gilligan.
So Beck, I'm glad you walked in. We're still talking about how well the event went. You know, everything went relatively smooth. Unbelievable amount of fish caught. Just couldn't think of a more perfect day. Minus the rain. The rain made things a little funky at weigh-in, but from a fishing standpoint, perfect time.
I honestly didn't mind the rain. Did anybody? Because it was a warm day, so it kept. It was a warm day, and it kept you cool. We didn't have any lightning, so
It's true.
honestly, it didn't bother me because I was scared we were going to be like just sweating our skin off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I also didn't feel as bad that we couldn't have the Fun Fest because how successful would a Fun Fest have been in a swamp of a field
That's true.
in the rain?
That's true. That's true.
You know, so everything kind of plays out for a
Us
reason.
Northeast people are kind of redneckish. They would have had fun in the rain. Up here as the snobs, it wouldn't have been getting wet, you know? They
They
would have been
been
down
like
there.
slip and sliding.
Yeah, they would have
and-
been having fun.
Big shout out to Cecil County, by the way, for giving
Yeah.
us towels at the weigh-in.
Yeah.
When we came in wet, everything on the boat was wet. They hooked us up with some towels. So it's a nice
Yeah.
gesture.
They were very kind, very nice.
Shout out to Cecil County. Shout out to Anchor Marine for helping us get out in the morning. That was nice. The parking situation there as well. I'm going to put you on the spot and the rest of the ladies, Beck, right now, and say you held an excellent event. The whole thing from the
Agreed.
beginning to the registration, the launch, all the way through weigh-in. And this is a testament. I want to let people know that are watching right now. You probably didn't get to see this, but all those fish. Think about all those fish we weighed. 140 boats. Everybody had a limit. The ladies ran the fish back and released those fish all day. And I'm talking about all of you guys, Becky, Janet, Carol, Kate, Jocelyn, all running 15 to 20 pound bags of bass back down the dock to let those fish go. Good job, Beck. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did like the one person's comment during the live, and they're like, "What? You don't have a release boat?" I'm like, Where'd that guy want me to get a release boat? Like,
If anybody out there watching right now has a pontoon boat they want to donate to the Ike Foundation or Ike Live, we can convert it. That might be the next
We
bill.
could make good use of it.
Yeah.
We'll test it out on July the 4th,
can you-
Yeah.
and then we'll use it.
Could you
for next
imagine a
year.
podcast?
This has
we'll
been
put
a
a
dream.
grill on the back.
Yeah.
This has been a dream of ours. So if you're watching right now, and seriously, if you know if you've got a used pontoon boat
And you need a write-off.
and you need a write-off, hook us up. Because can you imagine this? Ike Live, Ike Foundation, joint venture. We'll get Haas in on this project.
Yeah.
We'll make it a release boat, but like partied out, dude. We'll put a system in it,
A slide.
Yes.
a wet bar.
That'll be a second story.
Is
with a
that
slide.
we put the fish down that sometimes and sometimes we slide
Shoot
Right.
the
back.
fish out
Right.
the side of it. Yeah.
a wet bar, a kegerator,
Yeah.
music, like a
A
giant
plank,
sound
a plank
system.
for like walking the plank.
a plank.
You know.
Do you guys remember Canal Days?
Yes.
So when I first got my place down Indian Acres, and Dave, we had your bachelor party down there on the Chesapeake. We ran into something that they don't do it anymore because somebody, I guess, drowned. But they had a all weekend party last week in June. They called it Canal Days with a Z, and the entire the Chesapeake Inn, all that area was just a huge
Yeah,
party.
the C&D Canal.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was
crazy.
It was crazy. It was wild, and people were half naked, and alcohol was flowing like
Yeah.
wine, and
Man.
it was good times.
was
but
good
there were the big pontoon boats. I remember one had a stripper pole in it, and there was
Wow.
diving boards and sliding boards.
That sounds perfect for the foundation.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I did tell Haas though beforehand because he was like, "Well, how are people going to know that we're weighing in at the city dock? We never weigh in at the city dock." And I was like, "We'll just get a stripper and put some Ike Foundation stickers, right?"
Pasties.
Well,
Yeah.
Brian, I think we tried that for Ike Live at one point, didn't we? With the sticker bras.
We did. I got shot down, Beck.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did.
I jest, but I will always shoot you down.
You
Never give
mentioned
up.
Dave Haas. One more thing I have to mention on Brian's boat build for you guys. Dave Haas from scratch. I don't know how much input you had on it, but that live well, for a homemade live well, he saw I had to headlock each one of those. We were catching recatch fish. We were in electric only, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to headlock those things, get them in the bag. Like
Yeah.
they were absolutely. Dave built an amazing
Yeah,
live
Dave,
well, man.
yeah, that was all Dave.
If
Yeah.
anything, I don't know if is there a live well section to that build.
Oh yeah.
Guys,
Yep.
if you're going to be building a live well, try to steal some information off that portion of Brian's boat build that
Yep,
Dave
it's
did.
on the Ike Live YouTube channel.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
it might even be on yours, Mike.
That live well was amazing.
That's
Yeah.
on the Ike Live YouTube channel, and tonight after the show, we'll put up a story with that with a swipe up link for anybody that wants to see it. It'll take you right there.
Yeah, it was cool to see the variation of boats. Did you get to see a little bit of that? I know you guys were competing, but in the morning I got to see everything from, I saw an Allison that had like a 300 on it that was, a $90,000 bass boat, to the Ike Live boat build, which was electric only. I saw a jet boat.
Did you?
I saw old like javelins.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
like were repowered. It was cool to see.
There were some other trackers there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there were
some,
trackers.
There were some other trackers, but they had outboards. We shared a spot with one of them.
No,
It reminded
yeah.
me of the Jaws movie when they got a $10,000 prize to go after the shark.
Oh, yeah, and all the boats go out there.
You
Yeah.
got rowboats, you got yachts, you got
Yeah, that's a great obscure reference, Pete. Kudos, dude.
Right now, Dave's
Yeah.
mad he didn't think of that yesterday.
Yeah.
Why don't you bring me out with you next year? Because I won't get yelled at by you like I did this wretch over here.
Did I yell at you?
Yes.
When?
When I tried to.
When you tried to knock the 5 pounder off. And I said, Dad. I said, dude, don't dude me. First fish of the morning's our big one.
Tried to knock it off.
Dude, he speared it right cross body, right in the side of the head with the net.
Out of practice.
Hold on. If you do a bad net job, it involves contact with the fish, right? There's no other
Not
bad net
necessarily.
job there is, dude.
Not necessarily.
Why? What else is there?
Tell him, Brian.
I grabbed the net. And somehow, I don't know, it was freaking 17 degrees wintertime, wearing boob suits, frozen. We just come off a pad. I'm still frozen. Rich cracks one. 4 pounder on the Delaware.
Easily a 4 pounder.
Easily 4, maybe bigger. Giant Delaware River fish. On a spinnerbait right next to the boat. Like, what the hell? This thing's live.
You have no time.
I'm panicking. I'm like I said, I'm wearing this like the Michelin Man. Run to the back, grab the net. Somehow, I don't know how, I got the net caught up in his rod tip.
I feel my rod going down, and I'm like, fuck, that's not the fish pulling me down. What's going on?
Did you land it?
Hell
No.
in a tournament, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Who won that tournament?
You did.
Oh, yeah.
You did. That fish would have put us right there.
It was bad.
Mike remembers vividly.
But I owned it, Dave. And you screamed at me for saying, dude.
You can bump a fish with the net.
Oh, you did.
Did that fish go through concussion protocol at the end of the day? Or?
Poor fish.
Oh,
I just thought it was a post-sponsor. It was Dave netting him in the side, stabbing him.
What's it called? A gaff.
Yeah, gaffed him. But it was awesome tournament, Beck. It was a great event. So many boats. It was great because not fishing it, I got a chance to fish with Lane Johnson a little bit, which was great. Also acted as a media boat a little bit.
He showed more leg than you guys.
Shout out to Lane Johnson.
Shout out to Lane.
I saw your boat coming across the flat, and I see this giant shirtless human being on the front of the boat.
Dude.
I was like, that's got to be Lane Johnson.
Oh, dude, Lane's such a cool cat. Like, he's such a cool cat. Gets in my boat, and he had, literally his balls were hanging out, how short they were.
Yeah.
And first thing he does, he just takes his shirt off. just throws it on the floor. Just we're out there. He's just, I could just see him just relaxing. I was like, damn, this is a cool cat, And but
not even moving, like the fat rollers that get carried out by like the servants, and they're just sitting on the chair.
I mean, he doesn't have an ounce of body fat. He's muscle, head to toe, and he can fish, which is really good. This is the second time I got to fish with him. And Pete, you know the deal because you guide a lot. You fish with a lot of different guys. The first thing when I fished with Lane before, the first thing yesterday, he said, "You got a bait caster?" And I'm like, "Yeah." You know what I mean? He's just like, this dude knows how to fish. But give him your bait caster and doesn't backlash it. It's putting the cast on the money. It's nice to see that. But Lane came out to support, the foundation. He entered the tournament. He paid his, money to get in as a regular competitor just for kids fishing. That was great. He didn't have to do that. So awesome deal. But the boats, as I went up and down that river, was surprised at the variation I saw. I thought all 140 would be on the flat. And there were a lot on the big flat. But Pete, I saw them fishing creeks. I saw them fishing hardcover. I saw guys flipping pads. I mean, I saw so many different methods of fishing. It was really surprising. But the coolest thing was I got to Middle Ditch. I talked about this earlier. I got to Middle Ditch and got out there and I was commentating with Lane live. We're just kind of joking around. And at one point, 5 boats were hooked up at the same time. Like I looked around and just I could count 5 boats with the rod bent, with nets, their partners with nets out, and I could tell they were all quality fish. They were all big ones. And it was unbelievable, man, to see that, to step back and watch it.
I was in that mix out there near the Middle Ditch, and I had the same experience. Like everybody around me, us, at one point or another, you couldn't. Somebody was landing a fish. That's how active it was, and that as far as the eye could see, and that really was cool because a lot of times they get really wadded up in these small areas where you get certain guys are just getting them, and the guys that didn't find the spot on the spot aren't getting them.
Yeah.
But in this deal, man, I think that whole flat, all 25 square miles of it, was had the potential to hold fish.
I think it did.
But
I think it did. Yeah.
I gotta say I was ready to get after BTC because him and I were talking about this event going in, and I was pissed, man. The first 5 minutes of this tournament, I was going to go sink the Ike Live boat because we take off. He's boat number 1, and so I'm watching him go, and we had talked, or boat 3. We had talked about going up the Northeast Creek, and I'm like, it's really not the deal right now. I went up there and I didn't catch him, and he didn't catch him, and he told me where he was going to start, and then you take off. And you head right up the Northeast Creek. And I'm like, he's live. He's a liar.
Lies, sandbagging you, Pete. Chock full.
No, we went around, Pete. We went around the sandbar.
I saw that. I'm like, I bet he's going to sneak up behind him. He can do it with the Ike Live boat. And but I was thinking to myself, it's fortunate that I got to see you make that turn to go down the flat, because if I'd have left before, I'd have thought you went up the creek and then you were just telling me a whole pack of lies.
That's not my game.
Yeah,
we had our own takeoff music too. That we didn't. We had our own walk-in music, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't think many people heard it because by the time I blasted, everyone's outboards were running. But I had the flight of the ride of the Valkyries, the music from. It was Dave's call from Apocalypse Now.
The helicopter scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Crank.
That's great.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Ball bag on the message board says, Dave, you have the big grass flat between your legs.
It's disturbing.
Dang. How do you respond to that? I just got to own that one, man. You don't show up in little shorts and then think you can come back when people hit the little shorts, man.
It's crazy. Let me remind everybody watching tonight, if you've got a question, if you've got a comment for anything you hear tonight, please hit us up on the IM. Riz is going to handle all those comments coming through. Let me remind you, if you're watching over on Facebook, please like and share the feed. If you do that, you're going to be entered in a contest to win the fabulous, loaded Ike Live gift bag. Speaking of a spot within a spot, Pete, in just a couple minutes here, we're going to get on our winners of the Ike Foundation event. And I said in the intro, Pete, I can't think of two better people to win in the short time I got to talk to them, and with today being Father's Day, than these guys. It's a father and son team, John and Tom Nee. The story they're going to have for us is pretty special. Yeah, let's get them on. It's pretty special. But, Pete, I believe they found one of those more isolated spots, you know? A spot that was a spot that had something special, little something different going on. And a lot of times that's what you need, I think, to separate yourself from the pack, you know? When I looked at Middle Ditch, there's so many boats, and those guys are splitting them up. You know, those guys are splitting those fish up. But when you find something a little off the beaten path, you know, a little something different, a lot of times that's the key to winning. But we're going to have them on the show right now. I think, Brian, we've got them lined up.
Yep.
Our winners from the 5th annual Ike Foundation Celebrity Pro-Am, John and Tom Nee, join us on the show tonight.
What's up?
Guys, how you doing?
I just want to know how many beers I was supposed to be drinking before the show.
At least, you should be at least 3 in at this point. We're 30.
All right, we got one more to go.
Okay. First of all, guys, happy Father's Day.
Yeah, likewise. Happy Father's Day to everybody.
First question, this is an obvious one for people watching in different parts of the country. You know, a prize of a boat, you know, a boat motor. Pretty common thing in Florida and Texas, right? And, you know, even in Oklahoma, we're going to have Zack Birge on tonight. You know, you can fish for a lot of boats throughout the year. But in the Northeast, that's a pretty big prize. It's a pretty big deal. And here we are. We're not even a full day away. Has this win sunk in for you guys yet? Are you still in shock? What's your emotions right now?
Yeah, I got to tell you, you know, Mike, I am completely in shock. To win a boat is just truly amazing. I mean, to do it on Father's Day with your dad.
Yeah.
It's just the emotions haven't sank in yet. It's it's surreal. I mean, we're thrilled to death. I mean, my dad will tell you, he woke up at 5 o'clock this morning, probably 4 hours into sleeping, and just had to go check the garage for the boat. Like, he was like, man.
I can relate to that.
Cool.
The purple baby.
I can relate to that. Was that the best Father's Day gift you've ever received?
Absolutely. How can you top that? It's unbelievable.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I got to talk to you guys a little bit yesterday at weigh-in, but I know a lot of people are watching right now, and they want to know a little bit about what you guys were doing, a little bit about the area. But I found something very interesting when I talked to you guys. You know, a lot of times when a team wins, when they win a big event like this, they knew that they had the magic spot found. You know, they spent weeks or months practicing. They had the fish dialed to a T. They knew the cast. They knew the bait. Did that kind of thing pan out for you guys, or was this more of a spur of the moment thing? Tell us a little bit about what led up to this win.
Yeah, I'll take that one. You know, I think I was probably on the water doing a little bit more practice than you were. So I got to tell you, Mike, I was not seeing a 24-pound bag on the flat. I was not seeing a 20-pound bag on the flat. I was seeing 17.
Right.
And so in terms of baits, I mean, we've been fishing the flats for about 10 years, and it's been an interesting 10 years to try to figure that place out. It is, and it's changed. And you guys were talking about it earlier. I mean, the bags that you're seeing right now and the fish that I've seen come in this year are unlike anything I've ever seen. So to put a 24-pound bag on the scales is truly incredible for us.
Yeah.
But no, practice did not look anything like that. We were not dialed in at all.
Yeah, and we saw so many of those 16, 17-pound bags come in yesterday, Beck. How many? I can't even count how many of those 15 to 17-pound bags we weighed. It seemed like at least half the field had that kind of weight. And this question for John. Does it feel like this has come full circle for you? You know, I know for me, fishing with my son Vegas, who's only 9 right now. You know, when we catch a fish, I'm ecstatic. You know what I mean? When he's fishing a youth event and I net one of his fish, I'm like jumping out of my skin. I feel like the happiest guy in the world. But here you get to fish with your son on the eve of Father's Day and win this event that's unbelievable. You know, talk a little bit about that, because it's got to be a proud moment for you as a father as well.
Well, you can take it back a few years, probably in the mid-'80s. I was fishing a lot of South Jersey, just like you did. I hauled some fish home. I put them in the pond across the street in a abandoned golf course in Gibbsboro. I would put 2 3-pounders in there and take the boys over with their Zebcode rods and tell them, hold on, hold the rod.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they got a touch of it early. Even from boating, even with the Fisher Marine, they got on the Salem Canal when they were 10 years old. So they've been hitting this stuff for a while. They like to run the boat then. They didn't like to fish a lot. So we had to change that up and show them how to use the trolling motor.
Yeah, that's a fun part of it.
Absolutely. And it's been going on ever since.
My son's 10 years old right now. He likes to run the boat.
Right.
And I hope he dives into fishing. When did your boys, when did you make the turn to wanting to run the boat, to really loving to fish?
I think once they passed the girls a little bit, then we got into needed time on the water.
Right. I got you.
Absolutely. No, it was big. I mean, he's fished a lot of buddy tournaments and so forth. I mean, last year, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, they had a Chester County tournament or something, and I had to do something at work, and he picked up a friend who barely fished, and they went down the flats, and they had 21 pounds and won the tournament. He's calling me and going crazy. And I wasn't in the boat that time, so, I mean, it was all him, and he was like, lights out.
Yeah, that'll hook you. That'll hook you quick.
Did you have to split the money with your friend that didn't catch any fish? But you.
Well, let me tell you, he put one in the boat. He absolutely contributed. Yeah, we weighed one in.
He got one fish.
Yeah, he did his part. He did his part.
Yeah.
He got half the rate. That's how it happens.
That's right. I do want to talk a little bit about the pattern and the bait. You know, we got a lot of people watching right now that have fished the event. We've got other ones that have fished on the flats, and we got a lot of them probably that fish grass, and they're saying post-spawn fishing is tough, right? For a lot of people, post-spawn fishing is tough. You guys sort of made it look easy, and I know we talked, and you had that extra hour at the end, which I think was a game changer for you guys. But talk a little bit about the bait you used, the pattern, and sort of how you guys managed that area and caught those fish.
Well, I'll go into the pattern a little bit, and I'll let Tommy talk about the lures. But the biggest thing was when Pete talked earlier about spotting a spot.
Yeah.
We were going out, and he says, we got to get away from the crowd. So we found the spot outside the spot on the flats.
Right.
That little cut, that little ditch,
Bottom
little
contour change.
Right. Anywhere, it would go from 2 to 4 and might be like a 5-foot, 10-foot stretch. Tommy had an idea. Let's concentrate away from the group and pick up these other spots.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We stayed away from the crowd.
Yeah.
So there was no pressure. It was clean water. And, that was a good idea.
Yeah.
I'd say it was a good idea. No boats, and nobody came in and swapped casts with you all day?
Well, we seen Brian Schmidt zoom in a couple times just across from us a little bit, and I said, mark this waypoint because it must be a good one. He was there about 3 times.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Can you take us through your day? Like, did it start out with 26 or 24 pounds? Did you guys have to work at it? What happened when you guys put the trolling motor down?
No, so the day started, we had the incoming tide. And, I got to tell you, we actually didn't even start at the flat. We actually started out front on some transition stuff that I was able to catch some fish on in practice, felt pretty confident about it. We ended up busting one off right out of the gate. Couldn't believe it. It's not a good start to a tournament. And, we put about 45 more minutes into that first spot, transition, post-spawn stuff that one would typically go after. And then, we decided to make the run back out to the flat. And it was a complete zoo out there. I mean, you were out there.
Yeah.
And, my biggest thing was I wanted to stay away from the crowds. I wanted to get into clean water. You have at this time of the year in June, you have emerging grass almost everywhere on the flat. I mean, you can really find some emerging grass everywhere. So I wanted to get away from my waypoints. I wanted to get into some fresh stuff that the crowd wasn't getting to. So that's what we did. I mean, we just started drifting off. We started looking for good stuff. Mike, I mean, you've said this a million times. We fished the moment.
Yeah.
We totally fished the moment. We put the waypoints behind us. We looked for what looked good. We looked for hard bottom, sand bottom, little bit of milfoil. Milfoil was key for me, key for both of us. But I got to tell you, on that incoming tide, we couldn't hit them with our key baits. We really had to adjust to some finesse techniques to start putting fish in the boat.
Yeah.
And we did that. I mean, we weighed in a fish that we picked up on a Cinco.
Yeah.
A green pumpkin Cinco, weightless Texas rig, just dragging it through the grass. And the slower, the better. And we got a lot of bites doing that. And that bait's been around for a long time. You got to have that tide on.
Yeah, I don't really think so. I don't like that bait or throw.
Nice.
I'm surprised you're able to weigh in fish with it.
Nice.
So you on the
that wasn't the only one. He's taking you from the beginning.
Yeah. So you're finesse fishing on the incoming tide with those types of baits and how long did it take you to get the limit? Were you guys jacking them or was it picking away?
I mean, we had a limit probably by 8:30. On the fit, but it wasn't a very good limit. We probably had maybe 15, 16 pounds out of the gate. We knew we had to upgrade it, but I got to tell you, based on practice, I was pretty thrilled with what I had.
Right.
But yeah, so we actually adjusted a little bit. I would say the biggest thing that happened for us was towards the afternoon. We moved a little bit towards the crowds, believe it or not, but we stayed away. We stayed a few hundred yards away from every part of the crowd, and that storm started rolling through at the same time that we had an outgoing tide. And this was the game changer for us. I mean, we were able to pick up big fish baits like chatterbaits and swim jigs, and it worked to our advantage. We didn't have to use the trolling motor. The wind was pushing us right along the edge of that ditch. We were able to go in there stealthy. We could throw those chatterbaits, those swim jigs, and we started locking into some good fish. And
what swim jigs were you throwing?
We were throwing a dirty jig, swim jig. We actually used two different colors. The first one was Magic Crawl, Berkeley Chigger Crawl on the back, and the second one was black and blue. And I think when that cloud cover and that storm came through, that black and blue jig was just it started fishing both.
What weight were you throwing?
3/8.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's fascinating to me because during that storm, I made a similar adjustment, but in the area, the fish would not react, and I actually left the flats because we went through an hour or so without getting strikes.
What time did you leave?
When the storm was at its peak, maybe an hour before the end of the term, maybe 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
We were out there to 4 o'clock, and between 2 and 4 is when we did real well.
All right, I blame Becky for giving you guys extra fishing time.
Sorry. I think that was a big key.
No, that's great, man. Great adjustment. Man, it really was adjusting to the conditions like you should have fished in the moment. Were you guys hugging, high-fiving? What?
I was looking for you at the weigh-in. I said, "Where's the dean?"
Did you take back all the times you told him how much of an overwhelming disappointment of a son he was to you?
Pete, I gotta tell you, I'm not even kidding, but I gotta plug Bass University. We are longtime subscribers, both of us. I'm not even joking when I tell you, I was on Bass University the night before up until like 11:30, and I'm like, the summer slump of fishing. Like, how do I figure out how to get these big fish, post spawners in that funk to start eating? I'm not kidding. Like, you can ask my dad. He was like doing the same exact thing. Like, how do we dial this in? But we somehow figured it out, man. But thank you. You guys rock it with Bass University.
Man, I appreciate that. Thank you for that compliment. And
Pete's kicking himself though because he's wishing that he had watched his.
Yeah,
own
you
video.
needed to refresh that one too, Pete.
I am refreshing it because we're having Brian Schmidt on the live show on Tuesday. I'm like, how do you fish a swim jig, man? I gotta know.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
Dude, he'll tell you, man. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Are you guys throwing that on braid, or are you throwing it on fluorocarbon? What are you doing? The swim jig.
Fluoro. Yeah, fluoro. It's anywhere between 12 and 14 pound fluoro.
Well, how did that go? Like, I mean, seriously, were you guys going nuts? Did you get those two big ones at the end, or two big ones that won it for you, or how did that 24 pounds get done?
Oh man, I'll tell you, we had 1/5 probably before the tide turned, so we were able to pick up one on those finesse baits early. But no, it wasn't me, man. My dad locked into this fish, and he didn't see it. He was, when you're fishing a swim jig or a chatterbait, and those fish, you gotta pop that thing through the grass and sometimes kill it. And when you're coming back into that fish, it just loads up on that rod. And you're not quite sure if it's grass or if it's a fish, and you just keep loading. You give it hell. He's going to the other side of the boat to make sure that hook was set. That fish came right out of the water, and I was like, "Oh man!" and that, honestly, that was the saga. That was the story. We repeated that spot over and over. We did our best to be stealthy, little trolling motor action, use the wind to your advantage. Just work those baits through that grass, and when they would lock up, man, they just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Wow.
It was phenomenal.
That's awesome.
But I don't know, what was it like for you?
For me out in the tournament?
No, my dad. You're the one that probably weighed in the biggest fish.
Sadness.
Pete was sad. He was just crying.
Pete had pizza ordered
we
before
couldn't
he
even
hit the
find
weigh-in.
Pete. I'll tell you what, in a tournament like this, and we're catching the amount of fish we are and the size we're catching, we were not really prepared for a culling. So we're just scrambling to try to get the next fish in, then the other fish out, and we've never been in that situation. I mean, we've caught 20-pound bags and 18 and 19-pound bags on the flats, but at the end, the last 2 hours, it was a scramble on the boat. Yeah. I mean, which one do you dump? Oh, number four. Number four, you pull them up. It's like, oh my God, you better put them on a scale.
Yeah,
because we don't want to lose anything.
Brian, you said you had a culling mistake.
Yeah,
I was just thinking. I had the same problem you guys did, but it was like half the weight. Like our fish were half the size.
Dude, I'll tell you what. After we caught what I thought was like our fourth 5-pounder, we got to figure out which is the smallest of these giant fish. So we throw away the 4-pounder after we caught a 5. We start digging through the live well. What do we find? A 2.5.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Dude, it's like an hour to go. An hour to go.
Wow,
so,
Dad.
Dude, it happens to everybody.
Wow.
And I'm running the live wells. Figured I got a couple choice words there real quick, but regained with another 5-pounder, so he showed up.
Wow.
Did you guys lose it like father and son and start cussing at each other when you realized you made that mistake?
No, I think I got a little bit, not a lot, but I got a little bit.
Wow.
And I couldn't say anything because it is what it is.
That's unbelievable. And that's proof right there. When you're going to win, you're going to win.
Right.
You can't stop it. It's like getting struck by lightning. You know what I mean? But you guys definitely, I can tell you, I had a really good look at a lot of those fish. Being there, watching Dave Haas put them in the bag, watching you guys pick out your lunker. And there were several competitors, including yourself, that had fish that were thicker.
Yeah.
And it's a really strange thing because we talked about it early in the show. 90% of the fish I looked at were big and long and lean. And you had those same fish, but they were solid, right? So they had either recovered better already, or maybe there's a few left with eggs. I don't know, but you had a different caliber of fish for sure.
They had shoulders. They had shoulders on them.
They had shoulders, and that was a difference maker. It was funny because I remember this moment too. Tom, I don't know if you remember because you're the one that had the fish in line, and somebody had weighed 22 something just a little before you guys came up, and in my mind I thought, man, that's going to be hard to beat. And I jokingly said on the mic, I'm going to say, well, somebody could still catch a 30-pound bag. And I looked over at you, and you kind of gave me a smirk. I don't know if you remember that. And I was like, oh, shit, these guys got a 30-pound bag in there? and then you put them on the scales, and it was it was crazy. It was crazy.
It was absolutely crazy. I mean, we didn't even know what we had, man.
Yeah.
We thought we had like 21. We got a new balance scale, and we can't figure it out. There's too many buttons on it. And funny enough, man.
We'll be prepared next time.
Well, I can tell you this: that congratulations, it was a great win. But there are two other really cool stories that I want our friends watching tonight to hear. You guys have the one story, and Becky has another one. Beck, I want you to tell this story again. You told it yesterday at weigh-in, but the boat is a really, really cool story. And, we gave away a Bass Cat Margay again this year. Of course, Bass Cat's a great sponsor of the Ike Foundation with a Yamaha 150 four-stroke on the back. Yamaha, another great sponsor. And, Beck, in a normal year, when we order these boats through Bass Cat, we actually order through the president of the company, which is unheard of, testament to the company. But, normally you call Rick and say, here's the date of our event, and, here's our colors. And we have Ike Foundation branded colors, which is sort of a bluish teal, kind of gray, and that's the normal colors we get poured. Pick it up from there, because Rick said something interesting to you.
Yeah, so I spoke to him at the Classic, and as of the Classic, we were on, and he said, no problem, Beck, I've got a boat for you, we're good to go. Of course, a few weeks later, I had to call him back and say, Rick, I don't want you to make me a boat. I don't know what we're doing. Everyone's shut down. And so we talked multiple times. And then finally, when we said, all right, everyone wants to have this tournament. Maryland's opening. It looks like they're going to give us a permit, and we're going to be able to have this tournament. And I think people want to come out and fish. I called Rick back up. I said, I hope it's not too late, but can I get a boat? And he was like, you can. He said, but this is how we're going to do it. He said, I have another tournament, a charity tournament, and they now can't have their tournament. He said, so I'm giving you that Margay. And there was a Yamaha there, and we worked it all out. They could put it on. It was great. He said, but listen, it's a purple boat. And I got chills because, as most of you know, one of the founding members of the Ike Foundation was Brenda Butenowitz, and purple was her favorite color.
Yeah.
And she just recently passed away. And it was not long after, and he said, it's purple. I said, it's perfect. I said, it's meant to be. And I told him the story, and he said, God works in mysterious ways. And so we got us a purple boat this year for the tournament.
Pretty amazing, pretty special. She was a big part in the beginning. When we started the Ike Foundation, we didn't know, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. Mm-hmm. We never ran a foundation. We didn't know what a nonprofit was. We didn't know how to get momentum for this cause, this charity. She was so important in the beginning for helping with a lot of that, 5 years later, it's turned into this big thing. But in the beginning, she was so important to get this started. So to see that happen, and especially to see you guys, win this year with us, it was really special for us. So I wanted to make sure everybody heard that story. Yeah. That was a cool thing. But you guys have a special story, too, that I want to hear. And this is... I'm going to let you guys tell the story, but this is supreme confidence. When you have supreme confidence, this is the kind of decision you make. So I want to hear your story about, you're fishing this event, but how the hell, if you end up winning this boat, how the hell are you going to get it home? That's what I would think a lot of people were thinking, right? How the hell are you going to get this boat home if you want it? Give us the story. Pick it up from there.
Well, I talked to Tommy the night before, and I said, remind me to pick the hitch up in the other garage because I'll throw it in my truck and drive down. And he lives in Newtown. So I figured, okay, if we win this boat, most likely we'll have the hitch, we'll have my truck, and we can tow it home. And he just smiled and said, PMA. I said, we're on it. Let's go.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
and then
unbelievable.
Becky says
made a Facebook post in the morning saying it's time to win a boat. I think that was you, Tom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that was just crazy. Like, I mean, I looked at it like I'm fishing a tournament. It's Father's Day weekend. I'm like, like dads and sons, they don't like take selfies all the time. So I'm like, dude, let's grab a selfie. I dropped that thing on Facebook, like time to win a boat, not thinking much. Dude, I mean, tell me about it. That's a crazy, crazy story. And then, like, the Facebook responses just came blowing in because Ike Live is shooting this live weigh-in. My wife's got Sharon's watch parties and all kinds of things. And it's like, I'm a world blowing up the last 24 hours, man. This has been just surreal.
Very cool.
Now, John, this is Dave. I did something similar. So I brought my own truck down there, and the hitch on my truck's rusted on, so it's on there all the time. But, I brought mine down there for a different reason. I knew after the event, if I didn't have my own truck to flee in, Brian and his ghost would have me out till 3 in the morning tearing up the Northeast.
And that did happen. That did happen. That did happen.
But Brian had a head start.
Wow. Brian's ghost likes that part of Maryland, doesn't he?
Dude, that's where the spirit flies, bro.
The spirit loves that part of the world.
Flies.
It's unbelievable. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I do want to tell a quick story, and I love that story, and I love the confidence, which is, I think Brian knows this one, but way back when I fished as an amateur, I fished my second Pro-Am tournament. Back then it was the BP Top 100s, and I fished on Lake Norman. And back then it was a 4-day tournament. And on the third day, and here's the thing, I drove down with my Uncle Don, my mom, and I want to say my grandparents were there as well. And we all drove down in like this van. So the one thing with my uncle is he's loved vans his whole life. So it was like, imagine like the Scooby-Doo van, but like shit brown. That was the van. And up to that point.
I remember that van.
Oh,
dude.
yeah. You remember that van?
I remember that van.
Brown? Yep,
Yeah.
brown. With
The window on the side.
Window?
Yeah.
Might have a little bubble window
Yeah,
in
the
the back.
tinted bubble window,
Yeah,
dude.
had a little tinted bubble window. But up to that point, we weren't boat people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had crawdads.
That was it.
We had John boats that we had rental cabins where you'd put a trolling motor on John boat. We didn't have no boats. You know what I mean? He didn't know. I didn't know any of that shit. And on the third day, I was in the lead, but I wasn't blowing it away. I was like a half a pound in the lead. But my uncle had enough confidence in me that I didn't know this till after. But as I fished on that fourth day, he after he launched out, he went up to the tournament director, who was Trip Weldon, and or he was the assistant tournament director at the time. He said, "Mr. Weldon, my nephew's fishing. If he ends up winning, do you guys ship the boat back, or do you send one of your guys?" He's like, "Oh no! If you win that boat, you got to take it right here. We're just going to leave it. You got to." Oh,
You damn Yankee.
Oh, my uncle Don's got that real long hair. He just started scratching his hair. He looks like one of the Beatles, He's scratching his hair.
Or one of the monkeys.
Yeah, it was one of the monkeys. He said, And so he doesn't know what to do. There's no cell phones or any of that shit. So he goes back to the hotel and he starts looking through the yellow pages,
Yeah.
And he finds a U-Haul dealership that will install a hitch on his Scooby-Doo van.
That is.
And he goes and does it. He goes and does it. $100, $150, whatever it was, a couple $100 to install this hitch for who knows what's going to happen. And I ended up winning, and we towed that boat home. But it was the same. It was the same thing.
That's all.
It's a great story. You have to have confidence. You guys have confidence. I think that was a big part of your win. I really do.
No doubt about it. I mean, we had a lot of fun, man. When I tell you we fished the moment, we had confidence. We had confidence in catching fish. But when we started locking into the right fish, it was there was a lot more confidence. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Well,
It got a lot more fun after that.
yeah.
But listen, I couldn't tell you this whole experience has been nothing but amazing for us. I got to thank Becky and the Ike Foundation. You guys have an awesome mission to get kids out fishing, get them in the outdoors, get these city kids out. I love it. I mean, it's everything we support and we lived growing up. I think you'll probably be thrilled to know that boat came right back to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Whoa. You're going to start trouble now.
So, hey man, we're on the Ice Show, man. Anything goes.
Are you going to keep the boat and rig it out, or what are you guys going to do with the boat?
Hey, we're still trying to figure it out, Pete. It hasn't even been 24 hours since we've been home, so
We didn't even take the cover off yet. Just parked it in the big garage next to the Ranger. And we got 2 new ones last year, so we got both of these 521s. So.
And Pete, I got to tell you, the Bass University, we've been subscribers to this thing, and I said it before, I'll say it again. If anybody's watching the show and they want to catch big bags or big, you want to learn about a body of water, that's the place to go. But I got to tell you, it took us 10 years to win a tournament like this, but it wouldn't have been without the Bass University. It wouldn't have been without Smallmouth Crush, all the guys that put the content out there. That's what makes the difference. Because I'll tell you, when you walk up to the dock, you're not getting the deal. You gotta get on Bass University if you're gonna get the deal. So it was a big player for us. Mike, you guys have done a phenomenal job with not only the tournament. Your game on social platforms, and I just recall you doing a show live during quarantine. You're out probably on your pond, and you're like, dude, you got to develop a pattern. You got to
every night.
It's gonna work. You fished for 2 hours, dude, and you caught one fish.
One fish. Yeah.
And I got to tell you, that's right here. Every time I'm out on the water. So you guys are delivering the content for us to do incredible things like we just did. This is surreal, man. So thank you all for making it happen. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Hats off to everyone's new favorite winners of the boat.
Yeah.
You got anything nice to say about Dave? This is Mike asking you.
Yo, your biffle looks amazing, bro.
Your biffle looks amazing. Testicle, Dave, looks nice tonight.
Yeah, the left one. That's
really
one's
good.
my better one. That's why I'm facing this way.
Really shiny.
Right one's recessed.
It's very shiny
from an old football injury.
It's very shiny. I did want to hit up Riz. Do we got any comments or questions coming for John or Tom here about the win?
A lot of congratulations, and finding it amazing that they got away from the crowd and were able to wrangle up those big fish. And honestly, we got a lot more commentary on Dave's shorts than we did anything else.
I was checking also here. I was checking some of the Ike Live social media feeds, and we have one that came from unnamed angler. So I don't know who this person is, but wants to know. This is a question for you, Tom. Wants to know, your nickname was 12-Pound Tom. Is it going to change to 24-Pound Tom? I don't know who said that question.
Yeah, listen, man, like that I'll tell you, that nickname, man, really had me going. So, I got to think differently when I get out on the water, and if I come back with 12 pounds or less, it's not a good thing. But I know who that unnamed angler is for sure. And I'll tell you what, you're going to have to put a couple more 24-pound bags together before I can start changing my name. But no, I love the name. I love the name. It's motivation for me.
That's awesome.
There you go.
That's
there
awesome.
Go.
Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on the show, and once again, great win. I hope to see you next year. Try to defend your title. Especially, I think we're going to end up back on the flats, hopefully. So.
I think they'll let us. We did good.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to make you guys make the former champ be there for the ceremony.
Maybe,
too, the classic.
Yeah, you might have to give away the boat next year for us.
Yeah.
Or to yourself.
Oh, man, we're happy to help.
Yeah.
Give the boat to yourselves.
That'd be pretty cool.
I got one more
John, you should
tip.
try to sell that hitch on eBay. You know, like that thing's got like the,
Yeah.
you know, it's like the Bobby
Good luck.
Brady Tiki medallion now. That thing, dude.
I got one more tip before we get off, and it's probably the biggest tip. Take your kid fishing.
Yes.
You-
yes.
There
You
go.
see it here. You've seen what it produced, and it's right in front of you. So what you're doing is successful. You're advancing them to another level now that a lot of kids don't have fathers. So I mean, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Take them out there. And this is the results.
Yeah. So true.
So
So
what you're doing, you're going in the right direction.
I appreciate it. Guys,
Good job.
I appreciate coming on. Great words from a great father and son team, and great win yesterday, guys. Awesome.
Hey, happy Father's Day. Thanks, guys.
Happy Father's
Happy
Day.
Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Congrats, champs.
Congratulations,
John and
guys.
Tom Nee, everybody, are winners. How awesome is that? Beck, come on. You couldn't have scripted it better.
I
you
know.
know,
It's
we have
amazing.
nothing to do with the outcome. It all happened all on its own, but a father and son winning, you know, just that story, you know, the whole Brenda tie-in with the boat.
Yeah.
It was a great event. It's a great event.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about it earlier today. They're our second father-son duo to win.
Wow. You're right.
Yeah,
They are.
because
Yeah.
Randy Barron and his son won.
That's correct.
So they're our second father-son team to win
Yeah.
our tournament.
And our two biggest weights
Yeah.
to date, you know? When Randy won, I think it was high 14s on the Delaware River, which is a
It's a good
hell of a
Delaware
bag.
bag.
Hell of a bag. Unless you're Pete. If you're Pete, 14 pounds is a small bag on Delaware. Because he gets you 20 pounds.
So who are the
25.
past winner? We had the Miller brothers, first one.
Yeah.
Miller
Joe
brothers
Sancho
with Joe-
caught all the fish, and the Miller brothers drove past him on 295. So we got
Laughing the
that.
whole way.
Yeah, they drove right past him as he got off the exit.
Spitting out the window. Yeah.
Right, the boat hasn't even. But the boat's like a flower garden with mold and weeds.
Yeah.
Oh, stop.
Second, who are the second-year winners?
Let's say we gotta rack our memory here a little bit.
That's
Beck.
the one I can't remember.
Was Randy
Ran-
here
yeah,
too?
it was
I thought
Randy
Randy was
Randy
here
was
too.
here.
Yeah, because
Randy
then it
was
was
here
then it
too.
was
Mike-
Cliff,
Mike Senator
Mike, then
won.
Cliff,
Yeah.
Yep.
Centaur was
Centaur
year 3.
won. And
and
then
then Cliff and Luke.
Luke
Yeah.
Schrader.
Year
Luke,
four.
Yeah.
Luke won last
Yeah.
year. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Hey, Becky and Mike, I mean, I love what you guys are doing in Bass Cat. I love having the boat. You know, like everything is going the way of the certificate boat
Yeah.
for the winter. I think it is just so cool to have that actual
Physical
Yeah.
boat.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and motor right there. I think that's neat.
Yeah.
Makes it super special.
The,
I'd agree.
the tough part about not having the Fun Fest is the cool part when we have the Fun Fest is all the families and the kids come down. They always check out the boat. They want to see it. You know, someone's
Yeah.
going to win this
Yeah.
today. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
like
Putting their dirty little fingers on it.
and lick it, snotty. Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody gets to take it home.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice, man.
Yeah.
I want the hitch. If I was him, I'd do something cool with the hitch. You know, I'd put it next to the certificate or the plaque.
Put it in the man cave. Yeah.
I mean, what a lucky hitch.
yeah.
Like the
Seriously.
Pope must. I mean, like the Pope French tickle with that thing. Like what? Like what? Why is that? That hitch is amazing. Who does that? Who has the confidence to go grab the hitch before the event and say, "I'll meet you down there, son," when the sun ain't even on the fish?
John and Uncle Don do. Yeah.
And Uncle
Yeah.
Don got it when you were already counting the money yourself. And
Nah,
Don, you can't
nah,
put Don and John Nee on the same level with that. John Nee brought it down before the tournament, dude. Drove separately 90 miles, bro.
That's true. That's true. That might be true.
You were ahead by a mile. Don's like, maybe I'll go get a hitch.
No, I was ahead by half a pound.
Because FedEx isn't going to bring it. Like,
Get out of here. I was ahead by 8 ounces.
Oh my god!
But
And this is why I had no chance of winning the Brenda boat. I wanted that.
thinking back to my win, though, reminiscent. Shout out to Finesse Fish, Lunker City.
about that?
Shout out to Finesse Fish. Key bait for me that week.
This stuff that went on all day long for 8 hours.
no, but I
guys can
have
concentrate.
I have a problem listening to other people. It always has been a problem. And sometimes it leads to a lot of funny stuff. You always laugh at the stories. You don't have a problem laughing at the stories when I heard people saying funny stuff.
Dude, I might have laughed. I might have responded about 1 out of 4.
No, I'm not talking about on the boat. I'm talking about in
okay.
general. When I tell you about, dude, I heard this other day at Home
all
Depot.
the time, I love it.
Yeah, I
But I was trying to win the boat.
trying to win the boat with an electric motor, fishing half-dead fish. Like, I mean, he was a true believer. He thought when he woke up that day we were going home with the great bait. He had no idea that we were fucking already dead men walking before we even put on the Cry to the Valkyrie. That dumb song
Wait a
was.
minute. I want to argue. I'm going to argue with you on that one. I want Pete to chime in on this.
You, man.
And Riz, Pete and Riz, because Pete, you have a lot of experience. I honestly believed that Brian and Dave had a chance fishing right there, and I'm going to tell you why. Dude, for 4 fucking weeks, they've released fish like we released yesterday. Maybe not that mass, but
close.
I watched you guys, all the ladies, releasing those fish. And, dude, bag after bag of 3 to 5 pounders being dumped in one little area. That happened for 4 weeks.
You know that train?
Ahead of that
you know
tournament.
that train? The train tracks?
Yeah.
They catch that back to the flats.
So is that what happens?
They
Pete,
gone,
tell
bro.
me, what happens? Why didn't Brian win yesterday?
I think they had a great chance because here's what the Northeast River gets done spawning before the rest of the bay does. So those fish are often feeding before the flats fish start feeding, right? So the flats fish are still that skinny, all spawned out stuff where the Northeast guys, man, they're already feeding. Their bellies are full, and you have, you have active fish a lot of times. So, and I've seen it. I've been there in June. I've had better than 20-pound bags within the reach of their Torpedo boat. So
I'm going to tell you this right now. None of our fish were living up there. All of our fish looked like they were friggin' harpooned in the face. All right, they were bleeding. All right, they were bloody. They were a bloody mess. Eyes twisted and upside down.
Well, I do have to tell you a funny story.
You caught the slogfish.
We caught a bunch of goddamn POWs.
Dude, I do have to tell you the funny. This is a funny story. I'm going to have hardcore bass heads watching right now that are going to hate me, but I have to tell you the story. So I'm waiting for what do you call it to show up?
Lane.
I'm waiting for Lane to show up, and he's going to be here any minute. And so I came out and watched you guys again for a second, and I'm like literally 5 minutes. I'm like, oh fuck this, I can't watch these guys anymore.
Right.
Because I was itching.
I can't believe you make fun of me for catching a catfish on a jig and
I
knew. I said we could have just went home right then and there. Like, why are we here?
So I came back out.
Always give up.
I watched you guys for a little bit, and I got antsy. I said, man, I got to fish.
Yeah.
So I broke out a jig and a little finesse rod, and I started flipping, and I can't get bit. And I'm in the off limits because I don't want to mess with anybody,
Damn right.
I'm in the off limits.
That's all I had.
And then I crossed over, and I'm fishing the dock where we weighed in, and I swear this happened, dude. I'm flipping around that dock, and I'm not getting any bites. And all of a sudden, I look in front of the boat, and I saw a couple bubbles come up, this weird bubbling.
Really?
And I look over there, and all of a sudden, a dead 4-pounder with mold on him floats up to the top. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, was a turtle eating them, or did he just get did he just full up? A dead 4-pounder, hairy as hell, floated up right in front of me as I was fishing.
Oh my God, dude! Like the Lady of the Lake.
Yeah, so they were the fish you guys were fishing for.
Exactly.
It's like salmon going up the river, getting ready to die.
Why do you egg him on, Michael? Poor Brian.
Brian, listen, I fed off of his motivation. All right. Otherwise, I'd have been like, let's start drinking as soon as we pretty much get away from everyone in case we're not allowed to because we didn't read the rules. All right. We didn't know where the off limits was. We were like, we thought it was one flag. It was another flag. And he was ready to report Centaur for being on the wrong side of the flag because after he jumped us,
Pole jumped you.
Yeah, he did.
Oh my God, that's awesome. That's awesome. But you guys had fun. That's all that matters. You
I had
fun.
a great time. Yeah.
You had a good time.
Just needed some more fish. Actually, I needed the flats not to be on fire.
Right.
And the flats was on fire.
Right.
I don't know enough, Pete, but my feeling was this past week needed to be in the 90s.
Yeah, I think you're right because what'll happen is the bait moves, and that's where you guys got victimized by. A lot of times there's more bait up in the Northeast than there was this weekend, and because it's usually hot, we have a lot of hot days, and it drives the bait up there.
Yeah,
we had 60s and 70s leading up to the event, and then
couple cold nights, couple colder days.
I had a feeling that was going to be
the bait on the flat. I told a story, Pete, earlier was unbelievable. When I stopped out there and it was calm and I was looking around, I've never seen schools of shad out there like that before. I mean, would like literally look down at the boat. It looks like the bottom's moving, and it's thousands of shad in a ball. And I saw it like twice, two separate times.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. You know,
We just saw the floaters.
right?
All the dead bodies.
All the dead gizzard shad,
all the
dead bass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we saw the dead bass.
Yeah.
But I want to give a shout out to the kids who brought in the lunker.
Yes.
6.2.
6.2. That's a giant.
From
dude.
Bethel, right?
From Bethel.
Yeah,
Is that
from
what-
Bethel.
Oh, really?
But
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
looked like a pre-spawn fish. That belly was huge.
Yeah.
So what was that?
Yeah, a few of them looked really abnormally round,
Wow.
including that one.
They probably put about like 6
Maybe
crushed
they ran-
Bethel beer cans up in that.
Bethel beer cans.
Bethel edition.
No,
Maybe they fished the sass.
I don't know. That fish was eating really, really good, and it actually looked different, which was interesting. You remember how that one looked?
It was weird.
It was strange because a lot of them fish, Pete. All them ones that came out of the grass were yellow, and that fish was not yellow. That fish was whitish.
Yeah.
It almost looked like a Hartwell fish, like a clear water, deep water fish.
Ours were opaque.
Yeah.
Kind of right before the quickening.
Yeah.
Did you hear any stories? Did you hear any stories on the way-in, like of guys going to the Sass or the Elk or any of the other areas of the bay?
Shout out to Travis Manson. He said he went all the way down to Baltimore.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Didn't pan out for him, but
wow.
He
Did
said
it really?
He said he made the run. He said he didn't have a good practice up here, and he said he ran all the way to Baltimore.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice.
Off limits is about 90 miles north of that, but
That's all right. Didn't do any good. He caught some bluefish down there. So. Yeah,
probably
screw
got
it.
some crab cakes.
Yeah. I do want to also say real quick, I don't know if he's watching or not. He did send us a text, wanted to know what time the show was. Shout out to our other good friends, John McGraw, Tom Hernishin, for fishing the event. It was great to see those guys.
They got a major award.
Yeah, they did.
You should get John on the phone. Ask how much he likes fishing with me because he hates it. Ask John how much he likes it. Probably hates it too because he don't call me to ever fish. So I didn't think that one out before I post that.
What was their major award, Bri?
Smallest limit?
Yeah, Tom and John won the smallest limit award.
What
which
was that?
I think was a $300 gift certificate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the
You're
limit?
kidding me.
No. Nope,
Yeah,
smallest
we
limit
called
award.
the wrong direction.
Why didn't we sandbag, dude, and throw it out and keep black tagging it?
You could have at least made your entry back.
Because we didn't read the rules. We didn't know there was that.
So-
You gotta start reading stuff,
So the
dude.
funniest thing is,
The words are too
the
small.
funniest
Let's
thing is,
read.
of course, Tom and John left. They were a little disappointed. They didn't have big. They had this, little tiny bag.
Little tiny
Tom's
bag.
holding up this bass. He can't even hold it. It's so small. It's emaciated. He's trying to grab it all weird.
Tell everybody how our buddy Tom shows up when we go fishing, though.
Oh yeah. Oh well, he shows up with a brown paper bag full of Senkos,
He had a plastic one.
a plastic bag
'Cause
this
it was
time,
raining.
and probably a 12-pack of Natty Light, but
And cigarettes and chew.
it's cigarettes and chew.
Dude, Dave, one of your things you were talking about during the day was, like as the rains were coming in, oh, I wonder what John and Tom look like right now as he was, going off into one of his fantasies. And he's like, hey, John's got the full, looking
full
like
kit.
The full kit looking like Cabela's. And,
Yeah.
and there's Tom with the poncho that and the
Unravel.
disposable poncho you get at the Phillies game.
Yeah, it looks like a fucking Mr. Twister board. You
got
see
it.
the check as it's folded. You know what I mean? Like all the folds. And
He got it free at the Phillies game.
yeah, it's yellow. The sleeves are like up to here.
It's exactly what they looked like. Yeah. Matter of fact, we got to get that picture of them at the weigh-ins because when they came in right after me or something, and I'm like, oh my god! My thought is like, there they are.
Yeah.
The funniest thing is John's in line to weigh the fish, and Brian's looking at Tom, and he's laughing at him. He's pointing at him, and he goes, "You got to get Tom to come up here. You got to." I know there's social distancing rules and all that,
Yeah.
and I didn't care. I made Tom come up.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Oh, it was so awesome to see him holding that little fish. But anyway, so they win, and I send a message. I send a message to Tom, and John, because they had left early, and I sent a message, and I say, guys, you didn't stay around, but you won the smallest limit award. And, Tom writes back, he's like, Oh, that's bullshit.
I ain't falling for that again.
I ain't falling for that again.
You have to tell
Have
the
you
story
ever told
now.
that story?
Tell the story.
Guys, so you'll understand it. Oh my God, this is one of the most amazing stories ever, dude.
So me and Mike, Tom's in the Coast Guard, and me and Mike, he was stationed in Homer, Alaska. So me and Mike flew to Alaska to hang out with him for a week. It was his last week or last month up there. He's like, you got to get up here. This place is ridiculous. So we go up, we spend a week with Tom, we fish all week. It's a ridiculously amazing place.
Trip, yeah.
Alaska's incredible. So this one morning we're heading out to go trout fishing, salmon fishing, something. And we stopped at a McDonald's to get breakfast. Was it you or me? One of us. Was it you? It was you. So McDonald's, it's like every other McDonald's, they got the gift cards right there on the counter. So Mike orders, and then he grabs a gift card out of the thing that hasn't been activated, and he turns and hands it to Tom. I'm standing there, I watch the whole thing. He's like, turns and hands it to Tom. He's like, yeah, I got, there's like $25 on here still.
Can I add something real quick? Guys, our buddy Tom is historically he's the cheapest out of all of us. He's the guy at around 10:30 just all of a sudden disappeared and stopped buying rounds when we would all buy rounds for each other. Very cheap. Go ahead, Brian. Fake gift card handed to him.
So the gift card gets handed to him, and he's like, oh.
Dude, I remember when I handed it to him. I remember his eyes lit up.
You gave him a backstory to it.
His eyes lit up, dude.
You backstoried him. You said, I get all kinds
of
stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So, the other part of the story is we're going salmon fishing early, and we know we're going to be out there till dark, right?
Yeah.
So when I ordered like extra everything, dude. I'm like, I'm going to be full, and then I'm going to have shit I can throw in my backpack as we're waiting, So my order was like everything, Tom's in the back, like all sad, So then when I handed him, I'm like, I've been getting these things. Hey, man, there's still $25 left on this or whatever I said. And his eyes lit up. And all of a sudden, like, everything on that breakfast menu became an option. It became an option for Tom. So he already had it made up. He was like Egg McMuffin, small coffee. But now all of a sudden, Pete, he's like seeing all these things. He's like Egg McMuffin, sausage McMuffin, bacon, egg, and cheese, large coffee, cream, sugar. I want an orange. I want 3 hash browns. Like, it's this unbelievable order. And then at this point, me and Brian, now we're back at where they fill the fountain sodas in the back. But we're crying. We're out of earshot of him, so he can't hear us. But dude, we're crying. We're laughing so bad.
And it was a young girl.
Yeah.
And he handed her the card, and she swipes it, and card's not activated. Like, what's this guy trying to hand me this bullshit card at 7:30 at 7 o'clock in the morning?
3 bags of McDonald's on the limbo.
Tom's 6'2" or whatever he is, and she's just like, we're fucking dying. We're crying, laughing.
And then the funniest thing is Tom didn't get it. Like, it took her a couple times to swipe and say, there's no money on this card. And then it hit him. Like, he went from real wide-eyed, like, excited, to then it hit him. And you know how Tom looks back, and his eyes got real small. And we're on the floor, rolling in front of the fountain. Oh my God, the poor guy.
Oh my God.
So now he wins. He actually wins $300 and he doesn't want it.
That caused eye sweat.
Oh God. All right, this might be a good time to take a break.
This is a perfect time to take a break. We got Zack Birge coming up.
Yes. Listen to me. Hang in there with us. This is the Ike Live Father's Day special. Great guest coming up. Hang in there with us, Mr. Zack Birge. Hang in there. When we come back, more Ike Live. Oh, man.
4.5-inch drop shot worm. Bama bug. Finesse jig, PB&J. Give me something hard. Hey, KVD here. Now, I didn't always know this much about fishing. 4-aught EWG worm hook. In fact, there was a time when I couldn't tell the difference between a jerkbait and a stickbait. But then I signed up for Mystery Tackle Box, the original monthly tackle subscription. And now I know more about fishing than I do about calculus.
And he knows a lot about calculus.
Plus, I get amazing extras like free fishing magazines. October 2016. Featured article, 4 places to throw a frog. Exclusive decals. Zombie bass. And how-to videos for all the great baits I receive. How to tune a crankbait. Is that underwater footage I smell?
I got goosebumps.
So if you're looking to develop enhanced fishing abilities like me, or you just like getting new tackle every month, go to mysterytacklebox.com and get your box today. Ooh, live minnows. Is it lunchtime already? Nature's candy. Oh. Is he in my pocket?
There's a special place in our hearts for the tools of the trade. They're what we prep for a good day on the water. They're what we clean after a good day in the field. Flambeau's patented Z-Rust technology protects the gear of today from rust and corrosion. Z-Rust for the performance of tomorrow. Preserve, perform, repeat.
You work hard to catch your fish. TH Marine has 2 products to ensure your fish survive. The Oxygenator injects 100% pure oxygen into your live well. That increases fish survival by 35%. For the perfect combo, add G-Juice live well treatment. It calms fish, stops bleeding, removes ammonia, and replaces slime coat. Get an Oxygenator and G-Juice and keep your fish alive.
Four and a half.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Ike Live. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday evening. I know we are. Reason I know is we're drinking beers and laughing, which is a good thing. It is Father's Day. Want to take a second and wish all the fathers out there, stepfathers, father figures. Want to wish you a happy Father's Day. It is a tough job being a dad, so congratulations to you. Also, in the first segment, we usually say this, but I want to say it now. I want to send a thank you to our military, active and veterans, men and women. Thank you for what you do. Shout out to our firemen, policemen, EMT. Thank you guys for what you do. Really, really appreciate it. Brian, we are going to have a guest on next that I'm very, 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 very excited about.
Yes.
Because this kid is the kind of angler that encapsulates a lot. Not just a good fisherman, but he's got a lot of other stuff going. So I can't wait to talk to him about that stuff. He's also a dad, which is a young father, which is great. I want to talk to him a little bit about that. And he's coming off a big finish, of course, at the last Major League Fishing event. So in just a little bit, we're going to have Zack Birge on the phone. Can't wait to talk to him. And then after Zack gets off the phone, of course, guys, we're going to be doing a MTB unboxing. Riz, what you got back there?
I got some activity here on the message board that's definitely worth sharing. And before I get to the message board, I also want to make a quick announcement that the Chester County Bassmasters will be holding another open tournament on the Chesapeake Bay on the 27th, and those guys did a swell job for us over the last couple of weeks of sharing our Ike Foundation posts. So it's only fair that we let people out there know that those guys are having a tournament again on the 27th. Well-run organization. It'll be a top-notch tournament. As it was yesterday on the Chesapeake Bay for the Ike Foundation. But on the message board, John McGraw actually chimed in and said that Tom had 4 cans of dip in the boat with him yesterday.
Wow.
And the Aussie Warren says that Dave Shorts have the smallest bag weight of the night.
Travis,
Wow.
you know what though? Everyone in this room will say that's not true. You guys know.
Travis G said that the only thing victimized tonight are Dave's blueberries.
Jesus God!
Wow.
Nice. That was good.
Man,
the smallest bag.
You should have known better to wear the biffle shorts tonight, Dave.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, when you stand up, they're not. You know,
right?
what I mean?
It's the sitting that pulls them up. There's a rise to them. Yeah. There's a lift to them. Let me remind you too, if you're watching over on Facebook, please like and share the feed. If you do that, you're going to be entered into a contest to win the world famous Ike Live gift bags. Thing weighs 20 pounds. Load it with Ike Live sponsors. Do that. Riz, let me also remind everybody, Riz is going to be handling IAMs the rest of the night. You got a question or comment, especially with Zack coming on, please hit us up, and we're going to get them through for you. I think Brian's got him lined up. Very, very excited for our next guest. I think he's got a tournament coming up. We're going to ask him what he's practicing for. Joining us for the first time on Ike Live, really good guy, Zack Birge joins us on the show. How you doing, Zack?
Yep, that's on me.
Okay.
Two for two.
2 for 2.
And again.
Let's try it again. Zack, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, guys. How are y'all?
Now, did you expect to come on this show and just have a normal entry? Like, we got the worst producer in the world. You knew that was going to happen.
Shout out.
First of all, Zack, I want to say Happy Father's Day to you. I know you're a dad. How's your Father's Day been today?
It's been really good today. Today's been filled with a lot of unexpected excitement, and it's just been a crazy day. I'll just put it at that.
What'd you find out? You got another one coming? What happened? What's the unexpected?
Not yet. We went to bed last night about 11, and we got woke up at midnight from the neighbor that my boat was on fire.
What?
And it took me like 5 times for the guys in the house staying with us yelling my name for me to realize that something was going on. Like, I thought I was dreaming. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Finally got out of bed, ran downstairs, opened the door, and the back of my boat was in flames. And I was like, oh, shit. So I ran back, put some shorts on, ran back downstairs, and pretty much the rest of it was just a blur. But I snatched it out into the road and unhooked it. That way I could get it away from the house we were staying at, the other boats that are here in the front yard that we're staying at.
Yeah.
Luckily the fire department got here and got it put out in a decent amount of time, and I got pretty much everything out of my boat, tackle-wise and rods and reels that I use out. I got to salvage all that stuff, but I don't really think the boat's in very good shape at all, or the engine.
Damn. Wow. That's got to be, I got to be honest with you, that's got to be an angler's worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's up there.
Like when you go to sleep at night, there's a few things you like, you never, it's a nightmare. You never want to happen. One is you wake up to theft. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wake up and your locker bar is ripped up, Another one is you wake up to something, your whole rig being stolen.
I prayed for that to happen.
Well, Dave's prayed for it because he knew he was going to zero in the tournament. But most of us, but that's another one. So give us what happened, Zack? Is it an electrical issue? Was it a?
We don't really know for sure. I've had a few issues throughout the year, electrical issues with the engine that was starter related, that I don't know if maybe some of those carried on to this particular time or if it was something with the charger. All I know is it started in the back, and it came out of nowhere. I mean, I charge my shop at home all the time. The back lid, plug it in, leave it open, charge it all night, next day unplug it and go fishing, or just leave it until the next time I go.
Yeah.
And
wow.
This time it was in the front yard, not in a garage here, or shop at home. So it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
And I'm really just thankful it wasn't in one of those places.
Wow, that's scary. It definitely could have been a lot worse, right? You could have lost all your equipment. It could have burned the truck up, other boats, so you got to look at the positive side of it for sure.
I made an observation. So you said, like, you first came out, saw the fire, then you had to go put shorts on. Were you, like, sleeping full frontal? Like, what happened?
Of course, Dave wants to know that.
No, I had some boxers on at least.
All right. No, I was just curious. I mean, if I lived by myself, I would be full frontal, just in case you were wondering.
Now,
I'm in the house with like 5 other dudes. So.
I'm not judging.
Yeah. And this
Dave would be full frontal in that situation.
That's right, Pete. And this has happened before, though. This isn't the first time, Zach. I can remember, I want to say 4 years ago, Chris Lane had a very similar situation happen at a tournament. The interesting thing, and I just got to ask it, I'm sure this isn't the reason, but the interesting thing when Chris's situation happened, there were two big sort of conspiracy theories on Chris's fire. One, of course, was lithium batteries. Everybody was saying, oh, God, it's lithium, lithium, lithium. The other theory, and again, this is just conspiracy theory, was Chris that year, if you remember, he was hot. When he won the Classic, he was doing really good. He was at Dardanelle. It was at Shallow Bite. The other conspiracy theory was someone sabotaged his boat. Do you believe any of these two may have happened to you, or what do you think on that?
Man, I really don't know. Like I said, I had the starter issue, which I don't know have led to further on than what we fixed and got back to normal until now, or if it just something that was just a freak deal. Like I said, I charge my boat every night, whether I'm at my shop at home or I'm on the road somewhere at a house, and I really just plug it in and forget about it until the next. And I guess I just fell asleep because I was so out of it. I didn't even realize they were hollering my name from outside, and it was a cluster.
Wow, that's crazy. By the way, where are you, Zach? I guess you're practicing for a tournament. Where are you at right now?
Yeah, we're in Dayton at Lake Chickamauga, practicing for that Major League Fishing FLW Super Tournament.
Yeah, how's it going? How's practice been? How's the fishing?
I expect it to be a little bit better. It's just been kind of spotty, like getting a place and you get some bites and you feel like you're doing the right thing, and you move down some and nothing you do seems to be right, and then you move, get another area, things start happening, and you go, okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of been spotty. I think it's like a weird time or just a weird situation here going on right now. I'm sure that's not the case for everybody, but
yeah,
dial it in.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, to see this event unfold because this is the first event where MLF guys and FLW guys are combining. So it'll be interesting, I think, to see. I'm going to be following along, every day, not just with the fishing, but it'll be interesting to see, the feelings of the guys, because we talked about it, Zach, a few shows ago, and, we had a couple people chime in that didn't want to say their names from the FLW side that were like, oh, shit, we don't want these guys over here. And then we had other guys say the opposite. They said, we want them here. We want to fish against the best. So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. But it's another tournament for you. I wish you good luck in this one. I want to...
Mike, let me ask a quick question.
Yeah.
Is your boat decommissioned? Are you out of the tournament? What's the situation?
My boat was hauled down the road to buy a wrecker to, I guess, a lot. I got everything out of it, got it. When the fire department put out the fire, the whole boat was full of water. So all my tackle that was inside at the moment had, a lot of it got wet. So we put it all in the back of my truck, backed it down the driveway, put it in the garage, put a fan on it, and just left it to dry overnight. This morning I got up. First person that really popped in my mind was Wesley, and then I also reached out to Bill Mayo, another friend of mine, and both of them got back to me pretty much at the same time. Bill, I just jumped in the truck, started heading that way. Alan Glasgow, he let me use his brand new Bass Cat Puma. So very thankful them working to get me back in another boat and, letting me use it. Drove right back here, pulled in the garage. I just threw together what tackle I thought I needed for the day and went fishing. So it's kind of been from last night at 11 o'clock when I went to bed to waking up at 12 to not going back to bed until like 4 this morning, maybe 4:30, to getting back up at 5:45. And then, because I was going to go out and practice with another angler today, Jordan Osborne. And then we started thinking, well, maybe I can hit somebody up and maybe find a boat. And then I woke up, texted a couple guys, figured out I was going to go get one. So I took off down the road to get that, got back. I think I got on the water at like 1:30 or 2. and got to practice for a few hours. So I got one more day of good practice, so it's all good.
Wow.
It's great to have those kind of friends, being able to get that done.
Yeah.
Keep grinding, man. Just keep pressing through it, you know? It's
Yeah.
like I can speak to this year of like the full effect, like these issues that keep popping up with boats. You know, the more I realize, like, the more you just keep pushing through and pushing through and pushing through and keep fishing, like, it seems like the fish gods pay it off for you pretty good.
Yeah. Or you can just take up gardening, and that never fails.
Hashtag always give up.
Always give up. Love your hashtag, Dave. Always give up. That's a good one. I do want to switch gears, Zach, for a second and talk to you a little bit about, since it's Father's Day, it's really appropriate, is you're one of the young, successful anglers on tour. And you're also a young dad, which I want to talk about because we have a lot of people watching this show. We have a lot of young guys watching the show that aspire to do what you're doing, right? You know, they're out there, they're grinding, they're fishing regionally, and a lot of them are young dads as well. And you've got it figured out. You know, I've watched you from afar through social media, and of course I get to watch you guys as a family. As you're at tournaments, your wife, your family. The last one, I want to tell the story real quick, which is awesome. It was the first day at the Heavy Hitters at Toho, and you were ahead of me that day. I was back in the pack, and I was tied up to the dock. We launched out of Big Toho Marina, and your wife, and I don't know if it was your mother or mother-in-law, came down with the dock with your little girl, and it was just awesome because they're just screaming out at you. You know, go daddy, you know, as you're pulling out. And it was awesome because for a lot of years I got to travel with Drew and Riley when they were young. They're in their 20s now. And then more recently with my son, Vegas and Stella. And there's nothing like that. There's nothing like travel with your family, having that support, you know, launching in the morning. I remember the Mississippi River last year. You fished a spot where your family got to watch you. Talk a little bit about that, because I think we've got young anglers that are dads that are intimidated to not do it because they're a father, they've got families. But you're making it work. I want to hear that side about you.
Yeah, not, you know, what you just said about kind of being not necessarily afraid, but just hesitant to make it happen.
Yeah.
In it, I was fortunate enough to started before our little girl came along, and not to say that I would have, you know, made a difference really, but I didn't really have bills. I didn't have a lot to worry about back home. So, and when I got started, I won a tournament prior to fishing the FLW Tour. So I didn't really have to worry about money either at the time because I had just won a tournament, had my whole year basically funded with nothing to worry about. So I fished with an open mind, and, you know, it was successful for a few years after that. And then Emma came along, and at first it was, you know, she was just a few days old when I think we went to, I think it was Lake Oneida, we went up north, and she came, and she was just like maybe a week old. She was tiny. And, you know, you don't really know what it feels like or what it means to have the support.
Yeah.
Just to have them there with you. And there was a few events early on where I had to leave home and they couldn't come with me. And it tore me apart.
Oh, yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Wait a few more years, Zach, and you'll be referring to those days before your beautiful daughter came along as the good old days. All right? When you're not all young and sentimental. When you get old and just life just grinds you down, dude.
I'm still sentimental.
Hashtag always give up.
Hashtag always give up.
Dave's Darkness checking in on the message board.
Sorry, Zach. I'm sorry.
But, you know, my wife, she works for Southwest Airlines, and she has a lot of flexibility with work schedule, trading days, or, you know, taking a few days off here and there throughout the year. So when our schedules come out, we kind of know what we're going to be faced with as far as going here and what times.
Yeah.
She can days off and give away a few days to make it work to where usually when I leave, they're coming with me. If not, I'll go through practice get that out of the way, and then they're usually there the last day of practice and throughout the rest of the event and ride home with me.
Yeah.
So, if I had to go through a tournament or I was gone for like a month or something and they weren't there with me, it'd make it a lot harder, obviously, so I'm very thankful for the position that she's in and the ability she has to come with Emma to all these events.
Yeah. Yeah, that support's important. I can tell you, when that support's not there, whether your family, your wife, your kids travel with you or not, if you don't have that support there, it's tough, And I've seen it both ways. I'm going to speak from experience here, having a wife at home that doesn't really support what you're doing, versus having a wife that says, this is my husband's job. This is what he does. He has to go. He's at work. I'm going to support what he does mentally, physically, dude, the difference is incredible, and to have that is so important. So I'm glad you have that, Zach. But if there's young anglers watching and you're a dad, you're a father, you've got one coming, it's okay. It can be done. Zach's a great example.
And UPS is a great place. Great careers there, guys.
UPS is good too. UPS is a good job.
My wife doesn't really support what I'm up to, but usually it's because it's no good.
Right, exactly.
Because it involves keys fumbling at 3:30 in the morning, banging off the lock.
Right, and a lot of vodka.
Dave's high school guidance counselor just checked in and said, "Wow, I'm a failure."
That's awesome.
Oh,
who knew your guidance counselor was watching the show? Who knew?
I mean, hey, this is a far-reaching show. Zach, I got a question. Zach, we're going to go back to the boat fire. Of all your friends that you travel with, which one's going to be one that don't park next to you no more? Who's the first one? Who's your first guy? Do you think is going to be like you're going to notice that his rig's no longer next to yours anymore?
Well, this is actually the first time I've stayed with Brandon and Jared McMillan, and both of them, I think, are probably not going to let me park next to them.
Oh, that's awesome. I want to switch it up again, Zach, and talk to you a little bit about the other side of fishing, which is another thing we hear a lot. And Pete, I want you to chime in on this as well. You're really good. But by the way, before I do this, I do want to read some of your stats, Bri, which is incredible.
Not my stats.
4 years fishing at the pro level, 3 tournament wins. Great finishes at the collegiate level, FLW tournaments, and of course now at Major League Fishing. A lot of success in a short period of time. But the one thing I want you to talk about is it's not just fishing. And you're one of the guys that when I look at you, you do a really good job of the other side of the sport. Social media posting, interaction with your fans, work in seminars. Of course, you've worked for us at the Bass University. You do a really good job of that. And when the season ends, I see a lot of young anglers that just turn it off. They turn off. I'm done with it. And that's it. You don't hear from them for 3 or 4 months. But you start getting active with your hunting stuff, with your videos, YouTube, social stuff on the hunting side. That's important. I don't want to throw any of the other young anglers under the bus. I won't mention any names, but a lot of them don't want to do that other 50% of the business. They just want to fish. You do a really good job of it. Talk a little bit about that. Did that come natural? Is that something you had to work at, or talk about that?
Basically, when we won the college championship, that opened up a lot of doors. So it started pretty much then, and it's just been natural ever since then. I mean, I just do it, naturally, and thankfully I've done a pretty good job with it, I feel like. And it, even through these times like we've been in the past couple months when, our stuff has been going on and we've tried to be extra, try to put the extra effort into it to keep sponsors happy and keep everybody happy. That way we can continue to do what we love to do. Thankfully, that's been something that's been very easy for me to keep up with. I don't really, every day I go out, I go fishing, and something pops into my head, and I make a post about it, and we roll to the next day. It's been very easy for me to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. I tell you, there's so many, again, I would never name anybody, but there's so many young anglers that just want to fish. And I cannot stress, how important it is that you do the other side of the job. You do the other side of the business. And, that's what gets you through. The promotions, the marketing, the social media, the dealing with the public, the branding.
But Mike, isn't that true across the whole spectrum of business? Guys like you, Skeet, Kevin, right?
I think it's true, but the reality is that you're not always going to catch them. You're not always going to win tournaments, and you have to be able to do the other side. So it's very, very refreshing to see you doing that, Zach.
Let me weigh in just a little bit on this because and I noticed it too, Zach, when I was preparing for the show and watching how active you are and all the things that you're involved with. I think it's amazing. But when you're a young angler, Mike, and I think this you're trying to become awesome, right? So maybe you're not. You've got. Like, in order to be the best football player in the world, you've got to consume yourself with that sport.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing at fishing. You've got to consume yourself with fishing, but you've still got to do the sponsorship game. So you have to try to find that balance where you can grow and because you recognize you're still trying to get great. You're still trying to be your best.
Yeah.
And you got to try to find that balance. And for years, it's been a struggle, Mike, right? It's like, is doing all the sponsorship work and social media and stuff, is it distracting you from becoming your best self as an angler?
Yep.
And how do you balance all that stuff? It's been a hard thing, but you're doing a great job with it, Zach.
I appreciate it. It's been something that even during like our off season, I'll put content together all year, and then I'll have enough to where I can post it all through our winter months when we're not fishing tournaments. And what I've tried to do with the hunting stuff is partner with companies that I can continue to just do 365 year round, and to where it's all natural. It doesn't seem like I get away from fishing, get into hunting, and I can continue to work for people all year long instead of 8 to 10 months, and then I take a couple months off. I want to do stuff for them all year because it's natural, and I love hunting probably just as much or more than I do fishing. I just happen to be able to make a lot more money at fishing.
Well, some of the people on Facebook are saying is, what's happened to you recently with your fire and stuff. This is a great opportunity to move on from Evinrude.
Yeah. It's a terrible situation of what happened, but I will be moving on. I really hadn't put much thought into it where I'm going to go from here. First year, I'd actually gotten what I feel like is a legitimate engine deal, and something I was pretty proud of. So I don't know where it's going to lead from here. I haven't reached out to anybody yet. I'm just going to continue to fish the rest of the year, do my job, and when the time comes, I'll try to make something happen.
Well, I think you're going to be all right. Your fishing skills this year especially have been really, really good, Zach. Great performance this year so far. I want to talk a little bit about that. You're coming off a big one, top 10 finish, Major League Fishing. I really want to talk about it because I was at the bottom 10% of the field, and you were at the top. You had a great event. You found something a little off the wall, which is unbelievable because it seemed, after you look at it, of course, when you have a bad tournament, the thing I do, Pete, I know you do the same thing, is I watch live because I want to know what the hell you missed. You know what I mean? It's like you turn it on and you're like, oh, it like smacks you in the face. It's like a big boom right in the face. But you had a great event there, found something a little off the wall. that's really become your MO too, Zach. I noticed that a lot of times you're finding stuff the other guys don't find. You're doing stuff the other guys won't do. Such a cool way to fish. Reminds me of an old Jeff McGee. You remember that angler, the beer nuts guy? Dude,
Yep.
Jeff would run up rivers. He would freaking lock 30 times to get to fish, like crazy shit that I would never do. But talk a little bit about this last tournament, Zach. A lot of us got to watch it. Super cool pattern. Talk a little bit about that event.
Basically, before we went there, I was thinking about two things. One was catching a big fish for a lot of money, and two was red crest, getting good points, because I was in that kind of position where I wasn't secure yet, but if I finished good, I'd be locked in pretty much.
Yeah.
So I was more concerned with points. Once I actually sat there and thought about it, I thought, well, I'm just going to go try to play this as a normal tournament, try to stay high and finish good and get some good points and move on. And if I catch a big fish, that's just a bonus. With that being said, I thought when we go here, it's going to be an offshore grass thing. I just figured that was going to be the obvious. And a lot of guys caught them out in the grass. I mean, Jordan won it, which congratulations to him. He's a stud. But I could never get it going in practice. I fished and I drifted through there. I did everything I thought imaginable to catch a bass out in the middle of the lake somewhere. It just didn't happen. So it was like late the last day of practice, and there was a thunderstorm coming, and I was kind of over in the corner of the lake, and there was a canal that went up. And I saw a bridge. I thought, well, hell, I'll go sit up under this bridge for a minute, let this rainstorm pass. But when I came around the bend, I looked up past the bridge, and I could see some water coming in. I thought, that's got to have a bass on it. So I eased up under the bridge. I power poled down. I was sitting there. I let the storm blow by. As soon as it did, I got on trolling motor, and I got up there real quick. First cast, I caught like 3.5. Next cast, caught like 3. Next cast, caught like another 3. I was like, all right, this is my spot where I can come get good points, finish decent. If I can get here first, this is going to be a month. Didn't think I'd catch a big one by any means out of it, but I thought I'd do good. So the first day of the tournament, I rolled right there. I think I was about 12. Nobody ahead of me went there. I whipped right in, power poled down just short of it, when line's in. I only caught 3 fish out of it, which blew my mind because it was still flowing just as hard in. I really thought it was somewhere I could pull into and catch like 30 pounds quick.
Yeah.
Just didn't pan out. So I thought there was this many fish here in practice where I was catching them every cast. They couldn't have gone far. So I turned around and I just drifted back down the canal and was really just trying to figure out where they might have went. And just after you get in the canal, there's a little bend and there's a pretty good hole in it. And from fishing it throughout the tournament, I kind of learned more about it. There's just a depression. Seems like there's a couple of shell places in it, good clean bottom, a nice cut bank where the current hits up against with some grass with stuff hanging off the edge of it. And I saw it in practice, and I saw some fish busting there, but I couldn't ever get them to eat anything. And I went right by them without even thinking about it. Well, once I figured out I wasn't going to catch them on that pipe, I put more time into figuring out how to catch them. And basically throughout the tournament, I learned how to catch there. That was just one of the places. It ended up being pretty good the first day. I caught a bunch of fish out of there. I think I caught like 50-something pounds between there and another spot back up towards takeoff that I fished late in the day. It was just kind of one of those things where I had to leave what you hear you do in Florida or what is supposed and bring what, basically has gotten me to where I am today.
Yeah.
Florida. Yeah. And end up doing that a lot of places because I go places and you do your research and you read and you watch YouTube and you're like, all right, this is what I need to do when I get there. I buy $1,000 off Tackle Warehouse stuff.
Yeah.
So it just goes back in the back of the truck, and I resort back to what what I've done since I started bass fishing. It's just fish like I like to fish, and I make it happen.
Yeah.
What I did there. I fished current related stuff, and it paid off. We had rain that led up to it. Just perfect scenario.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I did exactly what you said is what I did. I fell victim to saying big bass in Florida, summertime, early summer pattern, right? You have to be fishing off the bank, that isolated, grass out there or brush piles, or you have to be flipping. And I was so hung up on that I avoided, the obvious, or I avoided my strengths, and that can kill you in a tournament. It did kill me. So it was awesome to see you do that,
And dominated.
Yeah.
And absolutely dominated. And
dominated.
Let me ask you this question real quick, because I was watching some of your highlights, and they talked about, and I didn't get to see it on the day one because you crushed it on day one of this event. They say you caught the same fish twice.
Yeah, I did. It was weird. I caught this fish. It was like it weighed 4.6 that morning off a crankbait, and caught it. I realized the fish had a special marking. It had an eye that was like it was glowing red. It was a bad eye, but it was just. He looked at it. I was like, damn it.
That's awesome.
And let him go. And fished the rest of the day. Well, I came back in there and I was throwing a topwater bait back through this like little pond that was just adjacent to the canal that had water flowing through it. Walking it right through there. Good fish comes up, eats it, set the hook, and the fish. I had boat position on a place where if she didn't go back out into the canal, I wasn't going to be able to bring her straight to the boat. And she happened to go left, which went to the back of the pond. And so it led me to pick the power poles up and try to haul ass and get around the corner and work her over to me, or jump out of the boat and go get her. So I just kept her coming. She got right to the grass, and I just pulled her up onto the grass, and I jumped out, went and picked her up, brought her back to the boat. In the moment, that was the best thing possible to do.
That's awesome.
And the first that fish was, she had the same. It was the same. It was the same eye, same bad eye, same markings. It was. There's no way I just caught the same fish twice. Like the fish came up and just kind of like nipped it or sucked it under. Like she crushed that topwater bait. And once I got her in the boat, I was like, dude, this is crazy. I've never caught the same fish twice. It's not been off of a bed or, some scenario like that. And to do it there within 15 yards of where I caught it the first time is pretty crazy.
It's crazy. There goes our 2-day theory, Pete, that a fish won't eat for 2 days after it's hooked.
Right. Hey, benefit of the MLF scoring, where you can benefit from that. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I caught the same 5-pounder twice in Rapalpo Creek, both once on a crankbait, once on a buzzbait. It was a 5-pounder with a big giant water turkey V mark on the back of its neck.
In the same day?
On its back. No. Like that same year, spring, summer, fall.
Yeah.
Same giant fish, man.
I guarantee you there were some fish caught today on the bay that were caught yesterday.
There may have been.
But I'm saying you caught the
Guaranteed.
same fish. Like he identified the one-eyed fish. I'm saying identifying the same fish that you caught yourself.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I got a question, Zach. On your offshore stuff, like, was there any company out there? Like, did you have it all to yourself? Offshore. Well, wasn't he doing like grass stuff?
I didn't fish much offshore.
Tell you that's how much Dave watches.
I'm paying attention. I thought you guys were talking about grass and
Scottie Pippen with the assist.
Scottie Pippen.
I'll just shut up and go back.
Dave's going to go back to UPS now.
This was my partner yesterday.
No wonder they only weighed 14 pounds or 13 or what was it? 15, whatever.
But you were fishing. You were fishing up a creek, and you were by yourself. Did you get much company?
Yeah, actually, we got quite a bit. Day one, I didn't see. There was nobody fishing. The first creek I went into, nobody was there. Nobody was at the mouth of it. Nobody was anywhere to be seen. When I pulled up to the second place I went later in the day, Justin Lucas was sitting on one side of the mouth of it, which he left like 10 minutes after I got there. And then Randy Howe pulled in, and he fished that side of it pretty much the rest of the day. And I fished from the mouth in about, 100 yards or so, 120 yards. Nobody else was over there all day the first day.
Yeah. It's crazy because when you're in a tournament, and you're not doing well, you want to you want to figure out what you need to do the next day, And it's funny, Zach, because MLF, and I'm going to explain this because a lot of our viewers might not know the exact procedure. But in MLF, we're not allowed to look at any of the footage on MLF while we're in the tournament, right? Okay? So I can't get back from a day of fishing and go back, hop on MLF.com. I can't look at blogs. I can't look at pictures. But they send us a link, right, at the end of the day. And they say, this is the link you can look at. And I love the theory. I love the spirit of that, right, because they're trying to keep it even. They're trying to keep an even playing field. I love the spirit of it.
Yep.
But I also don't like it a little bit, because, they get to select sort of the images and the content that comes out, right?
True.
So,
makes hole jumping way harder.
It makes hole jumping harder, but
unless you're one of the guys that was on a spot and you're in one of those select images.
Hold on. But it also can make it easier, right? Because when those images came out, Zach, you were in a few of those images, and it was very, very obvious that you were in an area with current, right? Current. And so, when I clicked on that link of here's the link you clicked on it, and I'm like, oh fuck, I saw the current. I'm like, God damn it, it was so fucking obvious. It's hot, it's current. They release 8 billion fish right there. Why the hell didn't I go up there? That's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
in my mind. And then after I got booted, I got to watch it, and then it really sets in like, oh fuck, I should have, why didn't I practice up there? That's what I was thinking. But I got to watch after I got booted. I got to watch as the event went on, and I was kind of mad. At what I saw, and I'm being honest. I'm not even competing, and this is coming from Zach. I'm the most competitive guy you'd ever meet. I'm serious. A lot of guys, I get a bad rap because I'm competitive. I'll get right in somebody's grill if I found that spot. If I don't think I'm encroaching on somebody,
fuck yeah,
I'm gonna pressure it.
He's cut our throats, Zach. He didn't even find a spot.
Believe me, this is coming from a guy who I've done it all. But in that one, I was like, fuck, I missed it. That was my mindset. I missed it.
Yeah.
And I'd just be honest with you. I was frustrated. I was frustrated watching it, watching what happened. And I was questioning.
What happened?
I was frustrated with guys coming in that weren't there the first day, weren't there that up there with Zack in his round. Even more so, I question.
What, were they day 2 guys?
Well, see, and this is where you got to start getting scientific on it, right? So Zack's second round, when guys show up that weren't in there, you can definitely point some fingers there. But in the next group's round, people were there, right? Skeet was in there, David Walker was in there, 2 guys that weren't in your round. Then you start to say, well, did they find it too? They may have, right?
Of course.
They may have. Absolutely may have found it. Or maybe they didn't find it. Maybe they didn't find that. Maybe they clicked on that same link that I clicked on, and they could fish in that next round, knowing that Zack's not up there, and they go up there. Did that happen? I don't know. You can never know without looking at the date stamp on their waypoints, right? But for sure, it pissed me off, Zack, when I saw in your second round guys up there. I talk a little bit about it because I'm frustrated. I'm mad by it. It's gotta piss you off a little bit.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt it did. And I'm the kind of guy I'm fairly quiet, but I'm very, very short tempered as far as I keep my cool until it pops, and when it pops, there's really no going back.
Yeah.
And when I rolled back up there the second day, I went down to the creek I started in, fished. It wasn't really happening that morning there, so I thought, okay, I'll run back up the lake and fish the other spot I've been fishing. Pulled in there, and Randy was on the other side where he was the first day he fished, and I started out the mouth, and I fished and caught a few, and kind of slowed down. I said, okay, I'm going to start easing my way in and fish the other, basically 100 yards that I've been fishing. And when you go in there, the current's like stroking. I'm like 7 just a hole, man. I'm fishing my way up through there, and every now and then there's little certain areas where you had to make a certain cast to get a bit, and it was basically like rolling sandbar humps through there, and the fish would position themselves on the bottom side of it, and you could catch them. But when I came around the corner, there was an angler sitting, power pole down, like right on what you would call the juice.
Right.
And the very first thing that popped out of their mind was, their mouth was, I had no idea you were fishing here the first day. To me, the first thing that popped in my mind was, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thing that I was just be cool, got a camera, don't do nothing stupid, just keep fishing. It'll work itself out. Thinking that the other angler that was there would see me and go, let's just go ahead and, let's get out of his way and, go down below him at least and let him fish where he wants to fish until he leaves, maybe.
Yeah.
My whole thing with it is there was nobody there day one. Not at any point during the day that I see this person there anywhere.
Yeah.
And come to find out they caught like one fish for like 2 pounds or something, and then all of a sudden you show up magically and you're on the X. And to me, it wasn't that it was. It's like you said a few minutes ago. There's no positive way to say this happened or that happened.
Right.
But there's a level of respect that when I came around the corner, not saying that you should pack up and leave, but just, be courteous enough to pick your poles up and drift by and say, go wherever you need to go, since I was leading. And the fact that you weren't there the first day, right with it.
Yeah.
But it's not something I'm going to have hard feelings with or anything. I mean, it's done. It's over. It's no big deal. But, I was so mad.
Zach, I've already had a couple whiskeys, and I don't want to mess this up like I did where you were fishing. Did we say who it was before we started talking?
No, we didn't say who it was.
All right.
And I'll be honest with you. I again, this is all now from afar. After I see, I'm booted out of the tournament and I can watch all this live. I think it's more than one guy.
Okay.
I think it's more than one guy, and that's me saying that, right? I think it's wrong. I think it's when a guy gets so desperate, that like points and qualifications and all that shit becomes so important that they're going to do something like that. That ain't right, man. And again, this is coming from me. I've done some fucked up shit in my career. I'm 23 years in. I haven't done it all right, but something like that's that obvious.
So he didn't leave?
What happened? What happened when you guys had words? What was the next? What did you do and what did they do?
What I did was I knew how my temper is, and I didn't say. All I said was I fished up to about right where you're sitting, and that was all I said. And then I knew if I kept going, it was gonna spiral out of control. So I didn't say anything. I fished right in there for a few minutes, and I just drifted back down the creek. And I decided to run back to where I started just to get away from it and take my mind off of it. For me, being in that situation where I was, if I'd have kept fishing there and kept thinking about it, it would have factored into how the rest of my day played out. And I didn't want that. So when I knew that he wasn't going to leave, because there were several times where he'd pick his power poles up, and I guess his trolling motors were already burned up from sitting in the current all morning, to where he'd pick his poles up and he'd crank his big motor up and he'd spin the boat around and blow out the creek and then ease back up and pole down. I was just like, dude, I got to get the hell out of here. This is just making me.
Yeah. Doug Hayes on Facebook suggests that you guys should have had it out in the octagon.
Might have been a good.
So did you catch him that day?
I wish I followed this so I know who we're even talking about. I'm trying to envision.
Yeah, he caught the shit out.
Well, did he catch him that day?
I'm good. And then when we came back around to knockout round, the two individuals that, more or less basically respectful, they both fished in there when Skeet and I didn't have to fish, and they blasted them again. And then final day, when Skeet and I got to fish again, there was nobody in sight.
They got to do something with the pictures on the link. That's got to go away.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so that's a good point.
I mean, it's like a selective information rule that the powers that be, whoever they are choosing. Okay, we're gonna release photos of these guys, but not these guys. Like
show the sucky guys. Then
choosing
if you have to show a picture, show the guys who didn't catch nothing.
This guy weighed in 3 pounds.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's definitely part of the issue. I think is the league, and the system that they have and what they show, what they don't show. It's at their discretion. I think that's part of the problem. But the bigger part of the problem is the guys that do it. And again. This wasn't one of those ones that is a maybe in my book. This is one that I looked at and I'm like, oh, they fucked Zack. You know what I mean? Like that's my mind went right to that. They weren't in there. They didn't fish in there in practice. They saw the current and that pic. They knew. Once you saw that image, it was I knew.
Right.
And instead of saying, oh fuck, I missed it. I bombed the first day. I got to go in there and get points. That's what pisses me off. And it affected the outcome of the tournament.
Right.
It affected the outcome of the tournament because let's say it's just you and Skeet were the only 2 legitimate anglers that found that. Think about all the fish that were caught, because, that were taken away, You and Skeet have a higher finish. You and Skeet maybe have a shot to win. They affected the outcome of the tournament, which is bullshit. Which is total bullshit, man. Total bullshit. I don't like it.
Well, let me like if I saw those images, and I noticed that, like you're saying, I'm allowed to look at these images, and I see current,
right?
And I bombed on my day.
Yeah.
I mean, I may not know where Zack is fishing or the other guys with current are fishing, but I'm going to be looking at my map saying, man, let me go. I'm going to go fish one of these current places. I'm going to go find one.
Well, there's one current place. I mean, believe me, I did that. Like I said, Zack's catching, look at this map. Where is there current? Where else is there current? There is no other current.
The current place.
There's very few places. If it's not that one creek, it's got to be like a pipe flowing in or something, or kicked on, pumping out flood water. And it's not so much that the sizzle reel thing is. I mean, that's legal for us to watch. They want us to post it on social media, but at the same time, this person admitted to seeing it was a current related place and going, just like you said a few minutes ago, damn, I need to go fish some current related places. And, that effectively changed the outcome of the tournament.
Changed the outcome of the tournament.
So is this something, now I followed it along with it a little bit when it broke a week or so ago. I heard that MLF was investigating. Is that true? Has anyone heard anything like that or no? Just a social media rumor?
Something like that. And the sizzle reel thing's supposed to be being modified.
Rethought. Okay.
There's certain things where the sizzle reel doesn't affect it as much or if at all like it did at this particular situation. And I think if, they should have been more, I don't necessarily say they lacked the knowledge to realize what was going on. And not tell everybody else exactly what's going on or what. But, there's certain things you should and you shouldn't post. And that was one of the things that really just.
They showed your hand by doing that sizzle reel like that, and whoever was in charge of that, should have known that that's not what should have been,
Yeah, there were a lot of mistakes made.
I mean, that's basic. That's basic. We all know that. You see a guy practicing.
Yeah.
See guys practicing that catch one, and he'll act different if other boats are around.
Right.
So I mean,
Right.
We caught a 2-pounder the other day and had a guy do a U-turn and pull up right next to us.
Right. Right. I mean, but
then I got in trouble for asking what he'd sound like if he was a bird.
I mean, in my opinion, there were a lot of mistakes made. The first mistake is, is this sizzle reel thing? Is this the right thing to do? The production guys at MLF, they're not fishermen.
Yeah.
They don't know. And here go the production guys affecting the outcome of a tournament.
Right. Travis on the message board said that we'll all be able to see who it was in 17 months when it airs on TV.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's true. The other point of it, which makes me mad, is we have a sportsmanship rule in Major League Fishing, right? We have a sportsmanship rule. To me, this is a break-in of a sportsmanship rule. They're fining me for saying fuck and damn and shit. They're fining me every other tournament, but they're going to let something like this, which is a clear violation of sportsmanship rule to me. So that's another problem.
Than face masks.
That's another problem. There's a lot of problems, but the main problem is the anglers themselves. Once again,
it's corny,
dude. Those guys, we don't have to say the names. Those guys that moved in knew exactly where you were fishing, Zach. They knew exactly where you were fishing. And instead of saying, damn, I missed it, or damn, let me go find current somewhere else, they just went in and fished. That ain't right, man.
Nah.
That ain't right.
It's been a totally different outcome had I seen them there day one.
Right.
If you're in, great, come on back and fish it again. Fish as much as you want.
Yeah.
But not be there at all, to not be seen on the whole lake itself.
Yeah.
And then show up because you saw it in sizzle reel and show up right on. Yeah, it's
It's
messed
also
up.
interesting that the two guys are friends that showed up in there, too. That's interesting. When you're not supposed to talk to each other. But anyway, that's another subject.
Is that true? You're not allowed to talk even with...
No, you can't talk to your buddy about, where to go or what to do. I mean,
You can't?
No, you can't talk about fishing at all. If you've got your friend that you're rooming with, I room with Ish, once in a while. And, it's very uncomfortable because you can't. It's to the point.
What are you talking
and
about?
The two of them showed up in that spot?
Yes.
So day one, neither one's there.
Right.
Day two, one of them's there. And day three, two of them are there.
I'm just
come
saying.
on.
I'm just saying.
Oh, jeez.
I'm just saying.
Good job, MLF, on doing nothing.
Let me remind everybody watching, if you've got a question or a comment about what you're hearing, please hit us up on the IM. Riz, what do we got coming through?
Other than Travis G wanting to know if it's going to be available in 17 months,
right.
Wawa Hoagie Lady wants the MLF to show more meltdowns on the live stream, in that at this point they might as well give participation trophies.
Yeah, participation trophies. That's true. I didn't think about that.
Also, the Chesapeake Bay says that I look like a cast member on Caddyshack.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, you're more real world than you are.
Nah, he was real world before the COVID.
Yeah.
He ain't got a haircut and.
No, he's old world.
Yeah, now he's old world.
Old world.
Mike,
I agree with Caddyshack.
let me ask you this, Mike. You know that there's current and that's a pattern, and you got to go out and fish the next day.
Yep.
How do you not go in?
Well, you're asking me because I was in that situation. I caught shit the first day. Let's see. I actually caught 2 keepers the first day, and I was in, I don't know, I was in 30, I was in the 30s, which isn't terrible. I still had a chance to come back.
Right. And you just got a piece of information
that
tells you that current is dominating that tournament.
Yeah. And I know that there's one place with current. I know that I missed it. I didn't practice in there, and it hit me. I'm like, fuck, damn. But I also know that the guy that's leading is in that creek. I'm not going in there. Am I looking at the map and saying, is there other places with current? Absolutely. You start looking at other canals. You say, oh, maybe this canal has current. And on the second day, I actually checked a few out that were all slack. But I didn't think, I got to save my season. I got to save my points. I got to make the red crest, so I got to go in there and fuck Zack. I didn't go through my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just getting older, and at this point in my career, I don't care anymore. Maybe Maybe it's because it's Major League Fishing, and I kind of don't care anymore.
I'm
kind of over it. I don't know.
I got a question. Zach, forgive me for not knowing these stats, but how many pounds were you ahead after day one?
I don't know. I think I had like 52 or 53. I think second was like 30 something.
Okay, so you had a big lead, right?
17 pounds, I think.
Right. Yeah, and you were the only guy doing that. You were the only guy fishing up that creek in the current. But there was still a ton of other fish caught in that tournament.
There were a lot of fish caught
that were not in that creek. So as a competitor, right? There's two options. Either I'm gonna go poach this guy's shit.
Yeah.
That I now know after seeing a fucking picture of where he was fishing, or I'm gonna look at the lake and
try
say
to find something else.
There's a bunch of other guys on this lake that are fishing the same tournament. A bunch of big fish were caught.
Yeah.
Other parts of the lake.
Yeah.
Let me go figure something else out.
There were fish caught flipping
on other parts of the lake.
There were fish caught in grass.
So those are the two options you have. Either you go poach, or you go figure something else out. Because clearly, it's not the only way to catch a fish on the lake is go up in that creek.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It was wrong. I think you handled it well, though, Zach. Cause
you're probably going to get a bigger fine for the show tonight than the guys that cheated in that.
Probably. I probably will.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I'll take the fine. I'll take the fine. I'll probably take it. I think you handled it well, Zach. And you ended up with a great tournament, great points. You got you accomplished what you wanted to, which is, you just got to go catch a couple fish next week at Sturgeon Bay or in a couple weeks, and you're good. So you handled it well. I think you handled it better than a lot of people, especially me. I don't think I would have handled it that good. No. Let me remind everybody, you're watching Ike Live. We've got Zack Birge on. We're talking all kinds of stuff. It's a good show. Zach, I know you've got a day of practice tomorrow, but before we let you go, we do have a very, very special guest joining us right now. And we're going to invite him on.
Oh, sorry, Mike.
We're going to invite him on to talk with us. And I think he's just got a few questions for you before we let you go. So I'm going to put the spotlight on our guest. First of all, guest, how are you tonight? Thanks for joining us here on the Ike Live show. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Well, I'll get an introduction on the Iaconelli show.
Yeah, so I believe your name is, and let me get, if I get this correct, this is in my notes from Brian. Is it Nadrian Navina, everybody? Nadrian Navina. Welcome
Correct.
to Ike Live. Nadrian Navina.
So the first thing I'd like to say is I never saw a sizzle reel in my wife. I don't even know what you're talking about. All right.
You're telling me you don't do.
What is that? A sandwich at Gina's? I don't even know what that is.
No, it's a clip of what these guys did. It's like a highlight reel of what they did the day before.
Right. I'm on the Iaconelli show. Zach, I got a question. Is anything I did illegal?
Oh my.
I mean, I showed up to fish, or any of the rules are legal saying I can't be up in there fishing.
Call it how you see it.
I don't know, man. It's a free country. I can be up in there fishing if I want to. I don't know. I mean, day one I didn't catch them where there was no current. Second day I said I'm gonna go where there's current. And I went up in there, and you happened to be fishing where I was fishing. My power poles were down. Yours weren't.
All right, Nadrian, I think I know you're from the Belmar area. Or
yeah,
somewhere.
the Belmar Triangle, Gloucester, Belmar, Brookline.
But you may be getting a little aggressive.
Sorry.
That's okay. I have a question for you. What's up with the hat? Is it a captain's hat?
Yeah, I'm a captain also.
Okay.
I don't just fish for bass. I fish for striped bass, and I captain down in the Cape Mays.
Gotcha. All right. Gotcha, Nadrian.
We can't see your face, Captain.
No, because I'm embarrassed. Thanks for making me break character, Guzik. I didn't even know what you're talking about, even though you were still on the show.
Nadrian, did you have any other questions or comments for Zach? I mean,
No, hey, Jack, good job for finding my spot. What do you think about that?
I love it. This is very awkward.
I don't know, Zach. I mean, no hard feelings. I mean, I would like to go out and shoot some quail with you. What do you think? Dang.
It didn't work. All right, Adrian, thanks for coming in tonight.
Yeah, no problem, Mike Iaconelli. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. No problem. All right, Adrian Navina, everybody. So glad he popped into the show.
Sounded like Ed Bassmaster.
It was a little Ed in there.
Fresh out of Belmar Lake.
Yeah, exactly. For people that don't know, like in our area, like we have Delco, which is Delaware County in Pennsylvania. We have Lower Bucks County, which is above Philadelphia. And we have all of like the Bridesburg, Fishtown area. We also have like Gloucester, Belmar, and Brookline. And almost everyone in this room at least knows one guy that talks like that.
A local accent.
And they grew up exactly where we did, and they pronounce like Dowers, Eagles, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Like they do it like that, and no one else does. Like I don't do it. I know two guys that do it, and Brian knows a guy that does it.
Belmar and they talk just like that.
Yeah, it's bizarre, dude.
Local dialect.
It is, man. It's like this dialect and a dialect of our horrible marble mouth accent. You know?
That's crazy. Zack, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight. I just want to wish you continued success. You've got a big one coming up here. Go out and win that thing, man. Go out and win it. I think it'd be great to see an MLF guy come over to FLW and win. You know, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I appreciate y'all having me tonight.
Yeah. Good luck this week.
Stop shooting bottle rockets off the back of your boat.
Zack Birge, everybody.
Thanks, Zack.
Thanks, Zack.
Good luck, buddy.
That was awesome. Adrian just totally created silence, which is kind of cool. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, we had funeral Zack. he wouldn't play.
I wouldn't either.
Nah, it was too soon.
He's got to be on good behavior.
And he had a bad day.
Yeah.
He had a boat fire.
He had a bad day.
He got hole jumped. Nobody's trying to laugh.
Sometimes, though, when all that stuff's going on, you know, like, you know, there's a lot of negative stuff going on. Dude, sometimes you refocus even more. You know what I mean? Honestly, like, I can remember some tournaments where I felt like the world was crashing down on me.
No, you use that.
And you
Mike, turn it into something.
Yeah, you take fuel from fire.
Yeah,
dude.
well, that's what I mean. You know,
some dudes don't.
Zack's boat burned up. He's got some bad stuff going on. I bet he has a strong tournament.
I don't even want to tell you what Brian called Lord Jesus.
I
won't do it. I only won't tell nobody.
Oh, you talking about yesterday?
No.
Oh.
No, I learned about it.
Oh, okay.
I was there for that day. A torpedo prop got mangled in that same.
Like I always said, I looked for Jesus. I didn't find him. I found Jesus that day when I heard what he said.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
It's not true. None of it.
It ended up being all right, though. He might have used that anger as motivation because we caught him that day.
I got you. No, so you know what? FLW's got to get. I mean, MLF's got to get rid of the pictures. You can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, you either allow it outright or you don't allow it.
Yeah, that's the other side
I don't
of the
understand how they don't do anything though, or have they? But I mean, like they're not there on day one.
No,
one dude's there on day two that wasn't there on day one, and then day three, him and his roommate are in there.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's so hard to prove. It's so hard to document. Everybody can make their adjustments.
Right.
You know, when I bomb, I guarantee you, when I bomb after day one on an event, I'm going to new water on day two. I'm trying something else.
If you knew the leader was somewhere, would you go in there? Like you knew it. It wasn't a question, Pete. Right? Yeah, you got it. You bombed. You got to go find new water.
Well, let me ask you this: if I practiced in there.
Yeah,
and
practicing there caught fish. Absolutely.
If I practiced in there and opted not to go in there on day one, and then I obviously know that it's happening in there, and I missed it, I guessed wrong on day one.
Right.
I'm in a dilemma. Like I know to go there, you know, and that's how I'm going to get myself in contention to win. I mean, how do you not? You know, it's difficult. How do you not do it? Like, you know, especially like maybe guys that are frustrated with, you know, they haven't had the success they want, or they've got to find their way into the winner circle. I mean, I get it, man. It's I don't know.
But what's even worse is they reveal your spot instantly, Then by the time you forget about it 1,000 days later, they're airing the damn thing on TV to remind you and re-victimize you.
Yeah. It's like they got information that they shouldn't have had, Mike. They got information that they shouldn't have had, right? And that's tough.
Yeah.
How many guys are watching that show on their day off? You know, how do you police that?
Well, they police it through. They have a full-time polygrapher that is at every event. So this guy Mark, really good guy, ex-cop from up in Maine, good friends with Troy. Lobster Troy.
Lobster Troy.
Lobster Troy.
Mark shows up. He's there the first day of the tournament, and he stays through the last day of the tournament. And they do random polygraphs every day, and they also can do polygraphs based on the circumstance, right? So that's how they police it, you know? That's one way
it'd be
to
funny
police
as a joke to have hidden cameras film and Mark walk up around guys and guys just being like scooting away from like Mark, like, oh my God, there's Mark. Is he going to ask me something?
I mean, they've hired this polygrapher to be a measure, a check and balance. That's one way they can, you know?
Well, if you know the offense is going to run a certain play in football, and you're not supposed to know it, but you know it.
You're the Patriots.
How do you not defend it? Like, do you just say, "Oh, well, I'm not supposed to know it, so I'm just not to defend it"? You know, I mean, the information is obtained, and your job is to go out there and catch the maximum amount of fish that you can catch.
Yeah. Well, that's the question. That's the point. The point of this whole debate is if you know the dude that's winning's up there and you've caught nothing, do you go up there and challenge him for that water to regain points or catch fish, or do you say, you know, oh shit, I missed it, I can't go up there. The guy that's winning's up there. That's wrong. That's the whole. That's this whole.
That's the debate.
That's the debate.
Yeah.
That's this whole debate of the second episode. You know.
Yeah.
Some guys think, you know, shit, I got to compete. I got to win. I got to make Red Crest. I got to make some money. I'm going up there. I don't care. Other guys, maybe they don't think that, you know?
Let's do a round table. Riz, all right or not all right with it?
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to, like, even if I went up there and I caught him and I won the tournament, I wouldn't feel good about myself after doing it. So, no, wouldn't.
Mike, I know you're
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
That's it. Pete?
It's not that I wouldn't do it. I didn't do it.
What about you, Pete?
I was leading one of the Bassmaster tournaments, and Takahiro Omori ran into me in one of the spots I was in, and he bumped into me, and I hadn't seen anybody else there, and he recognized it was me, and he came right up, and he's like, all right, I'm leaving. You know, I know you're winning the tournament. I'm going to leave the area. I'm going to leave it to you. And I thought that was awesome. I thought that was incredibly sportsmanlike. And I've returned that favor to a lot of different guys. You know, this is a particular situation, man. I'm telling you, like, I have decided to, you know, I found out a better pattern. My pattern's not working. I've changed, and I've run into, you know, guys that are doing really well in the tournament. But I give them the water. I've given up the water to the leaders in the tournament as a courtesy.
Quick rebuttal question is to something you alluded to. Do you prefer your Takahiro Omori with or without the adult braces? I like him with.
I like him with too. With. Definitely with.
Talk wit.
Yeah, talk wit.
Take him talk wit.
Talk wit.
You dick. Brian,
awesome.
yes, I know you're probably a big no, right? You ain't
No,
gonna
of
do
course
it.
not. Of course not. Nah.
Come on, Stocko, you're taking that information. You're going right in.
Oh, how could I? And on top of that, how could I stay there after the day one leader shows up? But I'm not there. Maybe Zack didn't say anything to him.
I've watched Brian turn around in a situation like that.
You're damn right.
I've watched him do it. I'm going to give Brian credit.
30 miles down the river.
We've taken a huge run into Delaware, and we had a guy ahead of us, and Brian gave it to him. I was actually like, fuck him. Let's go. We came too far, but Brian turned around.
Yeah,
I'll give it to him.
Well, I think that's a one-day tournament, though, right?
Point is, we took that to us.
Here,
that was an MLF event.
I'm
dude,
going to go
you know?
I'm going to go slightly other side of the coin here for a second. If I'm fishing in a 1-day tournament, right, and in practice, I know I found the same stuff that somebody else found.
You never really know, but go ahead.
Well, okay. So I show up to a spot, right, and I know in my heart that I did not find that spot by looking at another boat on it. I know that I found it through my own efforts. I may start in that same area or fish that same stuff. I'll give the person space, but if I know that I didn't poach that spot by looking at somebody else catching fish on it, I think it changes things in that aspect because
right.
in a 1-day event where you both had the same practice time and you practiced it, you were there by yourself, that guy practiced it, he was there by himself, well, you both put in the work and you both found the spot, you share the spot.
So we may have learned of that spot through surreptitious means. Like, I showed your friend and now you sons of bitches are here, so we turned around.
Yeah, I can speak to that.
If I had advice for Zach in that situation, is when I pull up and I confront and the guy says, I didn't know you were fishing in here. And I would have said, I'm fishing in here now. Get out. Leave it to me. I'm leading the tournament. Communicate.
True. Yeah.
Ask for what you want and try to get action that way.
Yeah, and this makes me think of the situation with Carl and Boyd.
Boyd Duckett?
Yeah, Boyd Duckett. Happened a number of years ago, and I think Carl will look back and say, he could have addressed Boyd more directly on day 1 or day 2 when Boyd was camped on top of.
Boyd OG'd him.
He camped on day 1 leader's stuff, and I think Carl takes some responsibility for not. He was young, and not as experienced, so.
It's so hard. You're not at your best self. Your adrenaline is fired up. You're redlining. You're wheeling up to your spot. It's not going your way. Somebody's there. I mean, it's so hard to find good communication skills.
It does not affect your fishing very good usually either. When you pull up on something, and I'm speaking out of my ass here. Like I can't even begin to speak on this with you guys, but like I'll say just yesterday I pulled up on stuff that I've been fishing, and there's somebody else dead nuts on top of my numbers, and sure enough, the first 2 bites of the day, I drop them. I had choice words I had choice words before I even made my first cast when I saw the person there. And, to my own fault, I let it get in my head. And it straight up, I think it affected my fishing. And it's one of those things. You got to communicate and try and keep your head.
Just to let everybody know, if you're fishing the Chester County Bassmaster event next Saturday, I GPSed everyone out on the big flat. I have all your spots.
Yes.
I had Lane Johnson with me. What were you going to say?
Yeah. Big Viking with.
Dude, he had his shirt off. Dude, his one tit is like that giant. Dude.
Viking with Daisy Dukes on, sitting on the boat.
Dude, he's a huge human being. He was impossible to miss on the boat when you were going across the flat.
The funniest thing is, so Pete, we fished. This is a great story. We fished, and I didn't want to get nobody's way. So after they didn't bite around the ramp, which is the off limits, the only other place I could think of is up in the rocks. So I took my boat further than I've ever been, the Upper Susquehanna. Nobody was up there, thank God. We fished, and we caught a couple,
Any smallmouth?
We caught some smallmouth, some little brown ones, and Lane ends up catching a good one up there. That's like a 4-pounder.
Smallmouth?
Largemouth.
Okay.
Caught a big largemouth up there. He catches this 4-pounder, and he swings it in. Or actually, I think I lipped it for him. I'm like, fuck, I found a good one. It's like weird that where he caught it. And I'm like, let's get a picture, And so his buddy, his handler had the camera, and, I was standing next to him with the thumbs up. And it's funny because I took a couple pictures, and I'm like, oh, I'll make a post about it. When I got back and looked at it, dude, the fish looked like it was like 1.5 pounds. I swear to God it was a 4-pounder. It looked this big.
Because he's
next
so big.
to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Such a
like-
huge human.
What did you look like next to him?
Yeah, his face was
I
the
must
size
look-
of his belly button. It's like Ike's right here, and there's his Lane's belly button.
Did
I
you
was
look like
lint
you were-
in his belly button.
Like you were hanging between his legs.
Oh yeah, I was like,
It's like, Mike's big eye and fish again. Nah, that's
it was
Lane
a
Johnson
4-pounder.
holding it.
He's a big man. He's a big man.
Trent Cole was fishing by me. He pulled in on me.
Did you give him a piece of your mind, Pete?
Yeah, well, no, I didn't.
Let him off.
I opted out. No. We're all fishing in the same area, and I said hi to him. But anyway, he comes in behind me, and like I'm fishing down this edge, and he's fishing, and he hangs into one, and I swear he's watching Mike Iaconelli training videos. Because he's running back on the back deck, and he's like, he's a giant human.
Yeah.
But he looks like you, like he's so like athletic, like he's just firing around the boat. He's behaving just like you do. And
That's so cool. I would love to have seen that.
That's
man.
awesome.
260.
I wish I might have it. I had the GoPro running. I don't know if it's
please find that, Gluzik.
in his direction.
That's cool.
We'll have to go back and see. But that was pretty funny. It was pretty fun watching him. I watched him catch a couple within vicinity of me. Everybody around us was catching them. So
It sounds like fun.
That's awesome. While you were stuck with the corpse in
Yeah,
the back of the creek.
Brian and Dave were watching dead fish float to the surface.
We were fishing dead ones.
What's that river in Ohio? The one in the area that kind of begins with a C, whatever. The River of Death, they called it.
Oh my
River
God.
of Fire, whatever.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was thinking, like, if MLF had been covering your event yesterday, their sizzle reel from the day's event would have shown pictures of like Dave like holding his rod kind of like slack down at his side, like pointing up into somebody's yard at their shrubbery or what kind of shutters or the hedges, and tell me about the hedges.
The size of the hole on the birdhouse determines the bird.
Make a cast. And then
How you going to use that? How you going to weaponize that on me?
You just told me.
You just weaponized that on me. I was telling your wife about that down there. You're going to weaponize my advice. That ain't even right, dude.
Are you talking about Ren?
He got a nice gift. He got a nice gift.
I did
and
get
I
a
asked
nice
Becky
gift.
what the dimension of the hole was because that determines what bird gets in there.
This is true.
And then you can weaponize that when I'm trying to be helpful.
I'm just messing with you.
Weaponized it.
I just wanted to use weaponize.
You're
that's all.
weaponizing words.
Oh man.
No,
Unbelievable.
whatever. I mean, Brian don't seem to complain about the observations when I'm making fun of people he don't like. You know? Then it's great. Then it's like, oh, let me text everyone what you just said about his beard. You know, like. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, because I want, whatever.
Oh man.
I'm not gonna make no more jokes.
All right, Pete, this is the part of the show where we're going to open up a mystery tackle box, of course. And we've got some new ones. There you go. Brian, get a little zoomage of that beautiful, look at that beautiful seal right there. Normally I have a pen I pop it with, but
Pete's Meat's got one too.
I'll just
Pete's
try to pry this one open. I was like, oh God, that's the best part of it right there, that noise, that sound. And we're going to do an unboxing here right now. I'm going to take one. I'm going to pass it over to Dave. And let's see. Oh, I see some interesting baits here. Let's go with, I'm going to go with this one. I like this one. Pass that on to Dave. Okay, and then this is, by the way, this is a Mystery Tackle Pro box, the black box. What I love about the Pro box is you're going to see some really cutting edge, off the wall, borderline different stuff.
Borderline different.
And this is
Borderline different personality.
Yeah, but listen to this one. This is actually a cool bait. This is a buzz bait by Booyah, and it's called a squelcher. This happens to be a 1/2 ounce. Look at the size of that blade. Riz, look at the size of that blade. Brian Carpenter, look at the size of that blade. I'll give you a close-up right there. Giant, oversized blade.
Yeah.
And a flat head. And a flat head on this thing.
Huh.
I like the looks of it. Definitely, I think it's going to lift well. I think it's going to have a lot of noise. I don't think I would ever buy a buzz bait with a blade that big, but I've got one now.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw this out in the flats this week.
It looks like the buzz bait that Jason Christie was throwing way in the back of Timber Creek.
Oh, did it have a big blade like that?
It was a big old buzz bait that he was slinging.
There you go.
I actually picked up that buzz bait because of the size of the blade. I love how slow you can fish it.
Have you fished this one?
I haven't fished it. I fished ones like it that aren't made anymore, and I'm looking for a replacement.
Huh.
And that's one of the closest replacements that I've found.
Wow. Okay. All right, Dave, what do you got?
Dude, I'm gonna. You didn't see this, or you would have grabbed it.
I saw it.
It was pressed. Yeah, I'm gonna one up it. So, I have some kind of like swim worm with a buzzbait tail on the back of it. I've never seen this because I'm out of the game, but
that might have played if you got the fish low tide like some of the other guys.
Pete,
needlefish.
Pete, our Walking Dead weren't coming up to the top water.
Yeah.
We hooked them in the face while they were laying half dead on the bottom. All right. No, this is neat. It's called the motorboat because I'm a motorboat and MFer. And by 13 Fishing. This is really cool.
Wow,
looking.
13's making baits,
So to
huh?
describe it, I mean, it almost looks like a sluggo with about a 4/0 offset going through it with a little tiny micro buzzbait tail on the back. It's a pretty rad looking bait. Stukel with the yawning on the microphone.
All right, going to pass it over. Why, Pete, what do you got there? Give us one while Brian's digging through there.
This is the Vexan Deep Thud. It's a big square bill.
Ooh.
And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I didn't get a chance to do this during the tournament because the grass bite was just so steady. But I love throwing big square bills down the flats this time of year.
Yeah.
On hard cover, in particular, like wood, blowdowns, docks, that kind of stuff. That big thumping square bill. Those fish start, like the white perch, get around the hard cover and the kern and stuff, and that big square bill catches them. So this caught my eye.
Ooh. Ooh, I like it. I like
Thud.
it. What kind of like to expand on that, Pete? What kind of stuff would you fish? You talking about like docks? You talking about laydowns? What are you talking about?
Yeah, the current based docks I like to fish this time of year with a crank, and it kind of goes on for the next month or so. But you start seeing white perch, moving around that stuff, and the big size bass get on them and start eating those white perch, and they for whatever reason that square bill is perfect for that scenario. When it happens. And when it's not happening, it's like ghost. There's nothing there.
Right.
But then, then suddenly every place you fish that has current breaks on it, that square bill's the deal.
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. I like it. Brian the Carpenter, what do you got?
I got a jig, yo. And
yo.
Got a jig. Little called the juice jig. Google Baits juice jig. I don't know. It's got a kind of funky head on it. Looks like it might stand up. I dig the colors. And some big bite soft plastics. Little beaver style bait. Actually make a good trailer for that too. So that's what's up, man. Mystery Tackle Box.
Mystery Tackle Box, like Christmas to your door once a month.
ETC. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you, Mike. But I want to make sure that we give John and Tom Nee a Bass University care package, Riz. I want to hook them up with the new Bass University camo hat and some other cool stuff. So let's get them on the list and I want to thank them very much for all their great comments about Bass University and be their father and son. We still have the Father's Day promotion going on right now, and it's a $70 gift pack full of great Bass U swag to come over and join the Bass University program annually. And, I just want to make sure, Riz, we'll catch up this week. I want to just reach out to those guys and get those guys hooked up. Thanks, guys, for all the great words.
I like it. Riz, let's give away a prize package. You want to do that?
Let's do it. Yep.
Here it goes. If you were watching along with us on Facebook tonight and you did the like and share, thank you for participating. Now it's time to give away this amazing Ike Live gift bag. Who do you got, Riz?
For the legendary, world-renowned Ike Live gift bag, tonight's winner is Caleb Spire. Congratulations,
Ooh,
Caleb Spire.
Caleb Spire, you are a winner.
You got an Ike Live gift bag coming your way.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the guests, too, Brian. We had a good show tonight. Of course, Pete just mentioned it. John and Tom Nee, thank you guys for coming on. It was awesome. Great father and son team that won. Also, thank you to Zack Birge, right in the middle of a tournament, practicing for a tournament when his boat caught on fire. He still carved out time for us.
Appreciate that,
And
Zack.
great interview until Nadrian came on and created a lot of dead air.
Thanks for coming on, Nate.
Dead air, I made everybody laugh in here, and you're.
That's right. I forgot about that, Nadrian. Also want to remind you that all the Ike Live sponsors, go to IkeLive.com. Use the promo code IkeLive, and you're going to get discounts on everything. Liquid Mayhem, Flambeau, MTB, Real Snot, Dr. Squatch, Primal Urge Foods. You were waiting for that, weren't you? Tackle Warehouse, TH Marine. Go to the website. Use the promo code. You're going to get some free stuff. What else we got? What else we got tonight?
We got Bass University Tuesday night.
Oh, BU.
Yeah,
this Tuesday?
We got BU this Tuesday.
Yes.
We have
Brian Schmidt.
Brian Schmidt's coming on to talk fish in the grass, swim jigs, and a fisheries biologist, an aquatic vegetation specialist,
Can't
and a
wait for
tournament
that.
angler.
Yeah.
Tim Holland. Man.
John Holland.
John Holland.
John Holland.
Yeah.
With a red Trans Am.
Bob Ross. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be a good show, man. I love the science aspect of what this dude's going to bring to it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to back that up with Brian Schmidt right after that.
Talking grass.
Pretty
Bam,
dope.
bam.
It's pretty dope. I want to thank everybody for watching. When is the next? Yeah, Pete, what do you got?
What was the smallest limit went out to McGraw and Tom? What was it?
Like 9 pounds.
Oh.
9 pounds.
Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't even think they lived in there.
Think
Like
McGraw,
that.
do you think McGraw, I think McGraw probably couldn't keep his eye off Tom's spit water bottle the entire day with all that tobacco?
He was worried.
Waiting
That's
for
what
it to
it
spill
was.
on his new skeeter.
That's what it was. He was worried. Bass Cat. But
Bass
he
Cat?
was worried.
Okay.
Dude, the funny thing is, John came up to me in the morning, and I give John credit, though. John finds some great patterns, and he's great at finding fish. He's good.
He'll put you over top of a ton of
Dude.
He leads the league in co-angler wins.
More co-anglers in the nation have won on John's boat than anybody. But he came up to me.
He finds the schools. He just backs up to them.
He was stoked, dude. He was very excited. He told me, he said he found some areas out on the flat that he won at high tide, which was very, very interesting. Because you hear most guys say, I don't want the high water. I want the low water. I want to compress, the
All
fish.
right, talk to me why.
I don't know. I mean, he said he found. He didn't tell me why. He just said, I got some high water areas.
But how was he fishing them?
He said he was square billing them.
See, that's the problem I have with it.
Square billing them, he said.
Pete, what do you think of that?
I've been successful in June on a square bill. I have
on
done
the
that.
grass flat and high tide?
I don't know about the tide scenario, but yeah, the square can be a really big tool when the bluegill and the perch are up there in that grass. The square bill can catch them.
Yeah, it's just from what I saw, and I don't fish it nearly as much as all you guys except Dave.
I put more time in there than you ever did.
Yeah, true, but not in the last 20 years. But my observation was high tide is everybody picks up the spinning rod and starts dragging the bottom.
Yeah,
It's funny because, there's been many times when at high tide, I pick up my flipping stick and with a big bait, and that gets you through the high tide.
Well, listen, John caught 9 pounds, so.
I mean, when the grass gets real thick and matted up, sometimes sometimes high tide can be the best because instead of those stalks laying all the way over, they start to stand up a little bit with that rising water, and you can get that chatterbait or that spinnerbait to get actually through the grass.
But I'm talking about yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you right now. If me and Derek Parker get to fish till 5:00 in the afternoon, we win that tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to say the same thing.
Me too.
I mean, if Donovan McNabb didn't throw an interception to the Barber the last game in the vet, the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. I don't know what we're talking about.
Sean hashtags McDonald's gift card.
Oh, my God.
I lost a couple dollars on that game.
No, like $75. You went right out of my pocket. I was in the 700 level watching that game.
Oh,
Dave.
God.
Take us home.
Oh, my God. All right. Listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're going to have another one coming up here, I think, in a week or so.
Yeah.
We're going to find out. We're going to have another one coming up.
Sounds good.
Let me end it with this. Felt very, very good to have everybody back in studio. And Pete, I know you're going to be back here sooner or later, so can't wait to have you back. Great show, great energy. Want to thank everybody for watching. Last but not least, happy Father's Day to everybody.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Hey, as soon as the cameras are off, we're going to do a group hug.
Okay, let's do it. We're going to break the 6-foot distancing. Yeah. Good night, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Hi. Today we're going chest to chest in the Dr. Squatch lather test. On that half of Mike's impressive chest, we're rubbing him down with 3 name brand bars. The result? A sad, milky film of disappointment. How's that feel, Mike? You see, Big Soap cuts corners and strips out all the sudsy goodness in order to make production cheaper. But not Dr. Squatch. Don't worry, Mike. Dr. Squatch soap retains all the natural ingredients, which creates a rich, foamy lather, leaving your skin healthy, soft, and clean. Ooh, looks like Squatch is taking over this peck party. How do you feel now, Mike? Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. When we say it lathers, it f***ing lathers. You deserve glorious lather. Take the lather challenge for yourself today.
4.5-inch drop shot worm. Bama bug. Finesse jig, PB&J. Give me something hard. Hey, KVD here. Now, I didn't always know this much about fishing. 4-aught EWG worm hook. In fact, there was a time when I couldn't tell the difference between a jerkbait and a stickbait. But then I signed up for Mystery Tackle Box, the original monthly tackle subscription. And now I know more about fishing than I do about calculus.
And he knows a lot about calculus.
Plus, I get amazing extras like free fishing magazines. October 2016. Featured article, 4 places to throw a frog. Exclusive decals. Zombie bass. And how-to videos for all the great baits I receive. How to tune a crankbait. Is that underwater footage I smell?
I got goosebumps.
So if you're looking to develop enhanced fishing abilities like me, or you just like getting new tackle every month, go to mysterytacklebox.com and get your box today. Ooh, live minnows. Is it lunchtime already? Nature's candy. Oh. Is he in my pocket?
This time of year, I definitely recommend putting a little bit of this on your soft plastics too. There he is. Another one. Next cast. And that would be number 6. I'm addicted. I'll admit it. I'm straight addicted.
This might be bigger.
You think so?
Yeah. Feels bigger. I haven't even seen this thing yet. It doesn't want to come up. Don't break me off the rocks.
Oh, it's a... Oh!
27-incher.
He caught it.
28.
Oh my god, that's such a healthy fish. Look at this size. Put a little liquid mayhem on your crappie jig, and look where the stripers get it. You can't even see it, man. That might be a keeper.